Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a long time coming since I've been here. I'm starting my country singing career in Nashville next week, so no big deal, just a hobby on the side. Welcome. It's been quite a while. I was literally out of the country for a week in El Salvador. Hey. And I'm back. I made it. I survived. And I went for a run today, so we are off to a great start. Yes. Okay. Also, if you hear growling in the background, we're watching a friend's dog named Rufus. So Rufus is a huge dog. If you were on my Instagram earlier today or now, you can see him in my story. He is huge. He's a puppy, though. So he's tormenting poor Taro mercilessly. Taro is my black cat, if you are new here. Someone suggested, I forget who it was, so I'm sorry if you're here and you're like, this is my suggestion. Someone suggested that I give more of an intro at the top and kind of explain what the heck's going on in both my life and in this Hollis universe, because some people are new. I just assume everyone follows every second of every day of the Hollises. So the fact is, not everyone does that, or new people are coming in as time goes on. So I'll try to do a little bit better with that and try to explain the players. Hate the players. No, don't hate the players. Hate the game, which is the self-help industry. So much has happened. I will say in El Salvador, I had not the best service ever. I had great service everywhere. Internet service, different story. Wi-Fi, non-existent, in the places that we were at. So, I did see a lot of what was going on, but I was not as clued in to everything. Also, side note, thank you everyone who watched the Gabby Bernstein video. That was like a longer deep dive into who Gabby Bernstein is. And Gabby Bernstein was someone that Dave Hollis had interviewed not too long ago when he was coming back. Well, I guess he was gone from the internet, except for Heidi's profile. And then he started doing podcasts again. And Gabby was the first person he interviewed. So I looked into her and did like a whole video about it. But so many people commented, they're like, oh my God, your hair, your makeup, it looks great. So I had just happened to go to the salon to get like a touch up on my hair, because I just recently not recently, I guess 6 months ago, got a balayage. You can barely tell because I'm in a ponytail. So apparently you have to get like more consistent services. Anyways, so the salonist, the hairstylist, she, did my hair. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to record now because I look halfway decent. And the amount of comments that people were like, I know it's not important, but you look really good. It fluffed my ego just enough. And also my insecurity, because I'm like, what do I normally look like? So I did another video recording today for a video coming out soonish. And I put makeup on, so there you go. Hence, I have some remnant makeup left. You know, it's okay to cry. Oh no. Hold on.
It's okay to cry.
There you go. It's okay to cry. It's okay.
It's okay
to put makeup on. And thank you very much. It was my birthday. I am 31 years old, everybody. 31 years old. 31. Dave told me this. Dave called me over the weekend and said, happy birthday, Kia.
I love you.
And
I will slowly buy you a boat.
So, he's working on it. And I did celebrate my birthday in a foreign country. That was my goal of the year. Succeeded. Success. All right. A lot. Like I said, a lot has happened. Rachel was getting like community violations going. Heidi, is blasting her children again on Instagram. Dave wrote a whole book. on his blog. He's apparently a stepdad now. I'm just like, these are little pictures and little pieces of the information that I've received during my time off. And Rachel's tickets have gone on sale for her live tour. She's also getting, she's too busy to read Instagram because she's like getting multiple orgasms. I don't know. That's gotta be the most bizarre one of all of them. But we'll get to it. All right, Rebecca Romana. Hello. Rebecca says, as an avid fanfic reader, I need Hollisverse fan fiction. Oh, well, I hope you're part of the Reddit thread. We haven't had as many, now we, as in if I go in and write it, but there was a lot of, like, in the old Reddit thread through Blog Snark, it was like just one portion of Blog Snark, you would get deleted, you would get banned from the Reddit because you would, if you were to write fan fiction about the Hollises, it was like, oh, this is an exploratory writing exercise or something. It was so silly, and that's why the group ended up forming its own Reddit subreddit, its own subreddit, because people were writing too much fan fiction about the Hollisverse. But I'm with you. I'm all about, well, I'm a more of a nonfiction girl myself, but, fiction is cool too.
I'm all about getting a free ride.
Thanks, Dave. Also, fan fiction
It's giving me life.
Thank you, Dave. Okay. So, also, as part of an exercise, I've also, and I'm sorry that I'm contributing once again to her monetary not downline, but her monetary success. I've repurchased all of her books. Previously, I listened to Girl Wash Your Face on Audible audiobook. And I don't even, rereading this one, Girl Stop Apologizing, I remembered nothing. So I'm like, did I actually even read it? Because it was very different. And this one, okay, so let me just give you the quick rundown of what I've learned. This is short as hell. This took me one night as I was watching Selling Sunset in the background. I read it. There's like no substance. This is also the large, so okay. You see how thick it is? It's not very thick at all. It's very thin. And this is the large print edition. Look how big the words are. There's no content in this book. Thank you, Rachel Owen. Rachel Owen's lemon character is a baby lemon blowing a party horn while marching. Well, for that, you have to say this. And here's a good one. This is one I haven't heard in a while.
Dave, you're talking about peace, aren't you? No, I'm talking about buying my book.
Dave's got another book. It's called Being a Daddy. At the Dave Hollis blog. Yeah, so if you didn't get to this third one, didn't see that coming, you could probably see the text coming from a mile away because it's the large print edition. But I appreciated it because I need my glasses. Yeah, it was boring. Boring. This one, didn't have any, anybody signing off on it. Like, these have, all these, endorsements on it. This had nothing. No one endorsed this book. So I'm going to do a separate video review on the book. It really was all about her brother's incident. A lot of it about her family, kind of it was almost more journally. She's always talking to herself, but this one specifically was much more like I'm reading her diary about how pissed she is at her parents and kind of them, screwing her over in life. And she talked a lot about Dave in a positive way. So I don't know. I'm still confused about the whole Dave situation. I've had my time to think about Dave and Rachel and what I think about it. And I'm leaning towards, unless she comes out with some tea about Dave sometime soon, I'm going to be Team Dave. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Because I don't want to judge how he is now with Heidi as how he was with Rachel. Because you got to realize like his whole world crashed to the ground. He didn't want the divorce, like all this stuff. So like, you know, the way he's acting now could be, you know, contributing to a trauma response type of, you know, behavior. But rereading the books, it really sounds like Rachel got sick of him after he was no longer relevant in helping her monetarily. And I'm not saying he's the best guy ever. Hell no. But I think that he, you know, he gets a lot of flack for being, you know, a horrible person. And I don't know. She talks about him very, very positively. Like, she dedicates one of the books to him. She says he's like the number one priority in her life, that, you know, he was her caretaker and first and only love. And like, this is what, like, if I was her husband, if I was Dave reading this book, and even reading this book, I'm halfway through rereading it. The scene in where she talks about Dave and like their love story, rereading it, and I know we're kind of going off topic, but rereading it, I really kind of am team Dave. And I know that's going to sound like, what? Like, you hate women? No. I just don't think that, I think she had completely unrealistic standards. And the fact that they got married was kind of the shocking part. Not that they broke up and not that he, you know, treated her that way. Not that it's good, but he said, I don't want anything serious. And then he went away and said, okay, we're going to break up. I need space. And then she, you know, wasn't into that. And it's like, well, you going to blame him for that? Okay. Rebecca Romana, again, thank you so much, Team Jack. Jack is one of the only employees left. Jack has the most important job, doing these vlogs now. He's losing his editing gig slowly because Rach Talk is now live, so there's no need to edit. We'll see if he finds some other jobs in between. Anyways, I know. Sorry, JB. I'm not Team Dave. Like, I liked Dave. Rereading this, I'm like, wait. I had a different interpretation the first time I read it, and I thought that he was so rude to her and so mean, and like, how dare he do the things? And I read it again. I'm like, I don't know. Like, you know, it seemed like they were dating for like a month and she's calling him her boyfriend. And I don't know, like, if they never had a conversation about it, I think I'm kind of on his side. Anyways, let's hold that for a different day. This is like way down the rabbit hole of 2018 Rachel Hollis content. Let's talk about today's stuff. Okay. And yeah, you're right. All the options suck. I mean, this is like picking a team out of like the Bears. Now I'm going to get in trouble because people are like, I love the Bears. Like, the Bears and the Bills. I'm a big Bills fan, or the Jets. Like, they haven't won in a long time. Right? I don't know. What am I talking about? I have no idea. What am I talking about? Football? Huh? What? Where am I? Okay. So, and another thing, says Darke, the infamous, never uses social media, says Darke, tour manager of Shawn Mendes and Rachel Hollis's boothing, who she hides out of, as whatever she said in her podcast recently, she hides him on purpose because she's keeping it sacred, even though she, you know, constantly talks about very intimate details and speaks about him extremely negatively a lot of times. As many times as she says like something nice about this guy, she also says like 12 things that are red flags to me. Like, he doesn't listen to me. He doesn't know anything about me. He doesn't like my hair the way it is. Oh, he said this and that and he didn't text me back. And it's like, I know a lot of details about this guy and your relationship, and you're saying that you don't talk about it at all for that very reason, to keep it secure. But now I'm seeing pictures and I'm seeing his torso on vlogs. I don't know. But anyways, she claims that naturally, organically, he posted her tour on his Instagram. The last post that he posted was from January. And then he comes back in June to post this wonderful photo that we saw the behind the scenes for, of her in these tuxedo suits. Again, I'm not a fashionista. I don't really get the vibe, but okay. Where she talks about the tour and he's like, this woman, with a bunch of emojis, and then she put a bunch of emojis back. people, I mean, I guess he may have deleted some of the comments, but some of the comments I think were a little bit on the negative side, the skewed negative side. So he limited all his comments across, it looks like across his Instagram. So he doesn't want any of the Rach unstands on his page anymore. But while we're here, let's talk about the cities that this Rach Talk is going to. So Birmingham, Alabama. We already sort of knew that one because she alluded to Alabama in her preview video. So September 30th, Birmingham, Alabama, Charleston, South Carolina, Joliet, Illinois. And she was like, a Joliet? And I don't know either. I know it's a suburb of Chicago, but she's like, Joliet, let's figure it out. And like they left it in the edit. I was like, is that good? Like you should probably, if you're going there and you're acting like this is like your people, like you should probably take out the part where it's like you don't know how to pronounce it. Thank you, Hannah Bieber. Are you Justin Bieber's sister? Will you play the Dave Hollis song, You Are Giving Me Life? Yes, I can. Can you play One Less Lonely Girl from your brother? I'm just kidding. Okay. Wait, the Dave Hollis song? Yes. Okay, wait. I'll play both for you.
Why do you follow me if you don't already own my book?
That song.
It's giving me life.
Thank you so much, Hannah Bieber. And I really love your amount that you chose. $18 stinking dollars. That is a great amount.
18 stinking dollars.
And it came in American currency. So as our economy collapses, that's okay because Dave Hollis will still have.
It is 18 American dollars.
Can you imagine if like we were in a recession then and he did that rant, Pancakegate rant, and was just screaming about how much $18 is no big deal? Times were good then. Like we were a bear market. I don't know what any of these terms mean. We were in a bear bull market, and now we're in a slumping troll market, and he's still trying to get that $18 from people. He's trying. Okay. All right. So then October 7th, Indianapolis, Indiana. Then Chesterfield, Missouri. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Kansas City, Missouri. Wichita, Kansas, Omaha, Nebraska, Detroit, Michigan, which was the one I was shocked about the most. And I don't know why, I guess. I think of Detroit as like a place that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more happening. And I know it's like kind of, a former glory day city, like when back in the day it was like up and coming, or not, I don't know. It was like big. It was like going to Chicago or something. It was like sort of like a big city that you would visit. Now, not so much. They call it the Motor City. I was surprised. I don't know. They must have done. I'm hoping somebody did some research, some market research about who's buying her planners or something. It must be Michigan, I guess. But I was kind of like, huh, weird. Seems a little bigger than she would probably pull, but okay. And then Columbus, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio. So Ohio must be like happening. Ohio and Missouri must be like happening for the Rachel Hollis universe. Okay, Joliet. Oh wait, not Joliet. How do you pronounce it? Joliet? Julietta? Joie? It's actually French. It's pronounced Jolie, Illinois. Okay. Albanese, thank you so much. Excuse me, I had to get my heart ready. Gotta get my heart pumped for this talk about Rach Talk. Albanese says, Rach reminds me of my evil sister-in-law who trashes my brother, her husband, when it's convenient, and sings his praises when he caters to her every whim. Yeah, I can see the similarities because that's how it feels when I'm hearing stuff about her boyfriend. Like, it's her boo thing. It's not always positive. She's the most positive person you'll ever meet, according to her. And I also went and highlighted all the time she said in all the books, like, I am the most organized person. I am the most positive person. I am the most, what did she say? I am the most, like, caring or something person. I'm like, the least judgmental. Like, I highlighted all of them, so there'll be a nice little segment where you can talk about that. But Albanese, this is what I have to say to you. Boothing.
My boyfriend.
My boyfriend.
My guardian angels, my spirit guides.
Who do you think Rachel loves more? Her boothing or her spirit guides? Let me know in the comments below. Also, what is her spirit guides' names? Because Gabby Bernstein's spirit guide is named Peter. What do we predict that Rachel's spirit guide is named? Oh, Rebecca Romant. Dang, girl, you are hitting up the line. I see you. Okay, we have a Joliet. Joliet. It's Joliet, Illinois. It's not from France. I like mine better. Joliet, Illinois. Okay. Thank you.
I'm super freaking privileged.
I am super freaking privileged. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Okay, so speaking of, there's a whole ass website. Oh yes. Oh yeah. I see your comment. I have not covered the photo from this weekend. I have it. I'm not gonna. I would have to blur it to show it, so I will not show it. But we'll discuss it because not okay. I'm glad it got reported. I'm glad it got taken down. Of course, she's not going to admit to it or talk about it unless she plans to in the future. It just disappeared off of Instagram and presumably disappeared off of Facebook as well. But I'll describe it and we'll talk about it. But let's talk about Rach Talk first. Okay, this is supposed to be like the neon sign, obviously. But I'm not trying to rag on the graphic designer, but it just looks a little basic for me. Like, it's clean, but this is like a little bit, I think it could be this is like a JPEG as opposed to like a PNG. And I feel like it's kind of like, okay, like I get it, but a little bit of something else would have been nice. Just something a little bit more profesh, I guess, but whatever. I'm being nitpicky. Okay, so all the tickets info, VIP general. So I guess the prices are different because it looked like depending on what theater you were in, they're different, but they vary from like, I think I saw $30, $40 to the VIP, which was like a couple hundred, which I was like, what the, what are you, what? I don't know. To me, a couple $100, I better be meeting John Mayer in person and he's taking me on a date and like he's gonna write me a song for that amount. Because like $200 to see Rachel and take a picture with Rachel Hollis, like in a theater in Detroit, Michigan, that's like a $70 tops ticket admission price to me. Now this ain't Rise. This is one night, a couple hours, going out for like Friday night or whatever. It's not like you're getting a conference with multiple speakers. I don't think anyone else is speaking but her. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to go see, Shawn Mendes or whatever. Maybe he'll be there. That'll be a surprise. Anyways, okay. So so Birmingham's the first. Let's click. So, okay. This talks about what you get. Actually, I had it easier pulled up. So this is the live VIP Nation, Live Nation. So it gives you kind of more details. There's her picture, her full picture. She's holding a empty coffee mug. Okay, and it's funny that they took these pictures like fairly recently, and then they like I feel like this should have been done like in advance, but I don't know. It almost seems like it's slapped together a little bit, even though they've been working on this for a year allegedly. It does seem a little bit like just put on our purple suit and get in front of the green screen and like we'll just use that. Like that's what it seems like to me, but who knows. Okay, so Rachel Hollis, Rach Talk Live. Will you have an amazing time no matter where you sit in the theater? 100%. But if you're a little bougie like me, if you like a little something extra with your experience, if you want early access and reserved seating and a cute swag bag and an invite to our sip and shop so you can pregame with a bevy while you connect and network with like-minded people in your community, and if you want to meet me backstage afterwards for a hug and a photo, girl, VIP is for you.
Am I the only hippie?
Am I the only bougie podcast host that you need to pay $200 to get a hug from me. Nah. I mean, I'm personally against this generally. I get it because, okay, like what else do you entice people with to get them to spend hundreds of dollars other than meeting you, I guess? And that's what you're banking on. Like, people are your super fans and they'll pay to just to be in your aura. But again, like, because she says, I love you, I'm rooting for you. It's like that parasocial relationship. Rachel's not going to remember your name. She doesn't want to talk to you on a plane. She claims to be like so friendly and, you know, wants to be so nice. But then in reality, she doesn't want to be bothered. She's talked about how she doesn't like people invading her space. I get that. I don't want my space invaded either, but I'm not telling people, I love you, rooting for you, tell me all your trauma because I'm going to talk about it on my hotline. Like, that's, I think, the difference in how I justify it in my own mind. Okay, so here was the VIP package. So let's go into detail. Gold photo OP VIP package. Oh, photo op. I'm like, OP, what does OP stand for? Gold photo op VIP package. Each gold photo op VIP package includes one premium reserve seat in the first 10 rows. I'm gonna say I will be shocked if 10 rows of people are purchasing tickets at all. So I have a feeling like very much like Rise, and I could be wrong. I've been surprised by how many comments she gets. Like, people are like, I want to be there, I'll be there. Like, I'm shocked that anyone comments this stuff. But you know, at Rise there was like 3 rows of people. So people who paid VIP, which was like $1,000 more than the people who paid general, were sitting literally right behind or right in front of them. So I don't know if it's really worth it to pay so much more to make sure you get into the front. If there was going to be packed, that's one thing. But anyways, okay, so you get a premium reserve seat. Do you hear that growling? See, we got a dog fight, cat fight. I feel like the lights are going to fall over. They're going to start pulling cords. Okay. You get 1 ticket to the pre-show sip and shop. So you have to buy, I think. Well, you get 1 drink ticket, I think I read somewhere. So you get 1 drink, and then if you want more, you gotta buy it. Okay, I guess fine. If you don't drink, too bad. This is this is a mommy wine event. 1 ticket to the pre-show sip and shop. Get to know your fellow VIPs at this pre-show gathering. And at a conference, maybe I could understand, like, okay, you want to get to know people on day 1, get a head start, meet people. I don't know if I want to meet people to network. Like, what am I networking doing? Like, I'm at a comedy show. So I don't know. Again, like, who this is for, what audience remains, what community remains in the Rachel Hollis world, I just don't know, because she doesn't really have a place that everyone meets anymore. Like, she posts on Instagram sparingly, and like a lot of the comments are spam comments. A lot of them are like, you know, people defending her and then people hating on her. That's kind of like the community that I see. So I don't know where all these like secret stands talk and hang out, because they used to have Facebook groups, they used to have conferences. Now there's not any of those things. There's no inner circle. There's nothing. So I don't know. Like, I don't know who I'm going to talk to. Like, this random person and go, oh, you like Rachel too? Oh, okay, cool. I mean, I guess whatever. It's hard to make friends, so whatever. I shouldn't shit on it too much because I also need friends. So maybe this is what I should be doing. Going to VIP events and sipping and shopping and mingling. That would be the solution to all my problems. Okay. Rachel's favorite DJ will be spinning an exclusive playlist. That was the funniest part. An exclusive playlist? Like, what is it? Like, music that you've put in an order? Or like exclusive music like Beyonce's new album that hasn't come out, like her unheard music? Because otherwise, like, what? Like, what is an exclusive playlist? I'm unfamiliar. And then there's like a whole playlist down here. So it's like, wait, am I listening to the exclusive playlist right now? And it's like it's like Y100, Z100, the top 20 radio station music. So it's cool. It's good music. I was listening to it before the live started. But why did I pay money for that? I don't know. Okay. While you enjoy yummy beverages and shop the tour merch before anyone else. So you get to buy the merch sooner. Oh my God. What if it's her own music? Oh, I didn't even think about that. Okay, also, this is a side note, but just I want to put it out there. I was listening to the Andy Grammer interview. I had forgot to bring it up the last time. The thing she said, like, the bridges you burn will light the way. He said, did you come up with that line? And she goes, no, the girl's hat said it. So one of the writers or one of the performers that I guess like she was writing with, and we saw that one video on her YouTube where they do the performance of the song. That was written on one of their hats. So that's where the lyric came from. So like, what did she actually contribute? She's like, drink too much wine and drive too fast. Yeah, being a woman is a blast. Woo! Anyways, that is hilarious. It's so funny. I see. Hi, Soko Lashes. Welcome. Soko Lashes is a patron. So she's a VIP of the Kia's World channel. You can take a photo with me and we can virtually hug for $7,000. Okay. She says, think she'll actually talk about Toiletgate. I go to hear that in person. No, she's not going to ever bring that up ever again. I think that her one attempt at clearing the air was the Skinny Confidential podcast. That did not go over well, and she's done talking about it because it doesn't benefit her in any way. She ain't gonna win back those fans. She's got to try to make new ones. She's never gonna bring that up again. As much as she'll say like, I talk about it all the time and I fail all the time. Her failures are like, I made a white bread ham sandwich. I didn't put wheat, and my kids, like, they'll forgive me. And I guess I can forgive myself because I'm authentic. And I just want to share this moment with you guys because I'm real. I'm not Gwyneth Paltrow. I am just a regular mom, just like you. Anyways, okay. Back to it. Okay, so we got the exclusive Rachel Hollis playlist, aka the Rachel Hollis originals. You get to buy merch before anyone else. So get to buy her, wholesale journals that she's trying to get rid of on the website, and your water bottles. 1 drink ticket included. Okay, 1 drink. Wonderful. The fabulous VIP swag bag includes a reusable tote bag, an autographed copy of Rachel's Start Today Priority Planner, which literally is like they're trying to get rid of them on the website. They've been like 50% off for a while now. I think most of them I've seen. I don't know if that one specifically, and don't quote me on that. But I've seen like all of her stuff, all of her merch has been like heavily discounted because I don't think they don't have a facility. They don't have an office anymore. So it's probably sitting in her house. Like she's like, all right, let me get rid of these priorities. My priority is to get rid of these priority planners. Maddie, thank you so much. Okay, Maddie says, money for you to get a VIP ticket so you can give Rach even more money during her exclusive merch shopping party. Yes. I just really want to meet Rachel, hug her, and also buy more of her things.
Rach?
She's got a great plan, Rach.
I don't regret anything.
She doesn't regret anything. And thank you, Glenn Doyle. Thank you so much. You are also an exclusive patron. Welcome, Glenn Doyle. Let me do a little applause. Soko Lashes and Glenn Doyle are in the house, everybody. Yeah, virtual hugs are only for the $7,000 tier. So, if you wanna upgrade, I'm all for it. It's just my shoulders, I just cannot hold the world on them, and just the hugging, it tires me. So, I gotta just price it correctly. But thank you. Thank you for your help. You're invited. You're allowed. But, just keep in mind when we hug,
I am not emotionally stable.
I'm not emotionally stable, so the hug may last a long time. Okay. And a water bottle, which is also on her website on sale. Maybe it's a different water bottle, whatever. An individual photo op with Rachel post-show. But you must prove that you have a negative COVID test taken within 48 hours of the event, regardless of your vaccination status. So if you got the Rona, you ain't getting the hug, which I think is fine. I have no problem with that at all, but it does have to factor into your plans as a VIP. You now have to go get a test to prove you are safe and good to go. So, I mean, I'm all about safety, but it kind of, you got to think about that before you just head on over with your Rachie shirt and go to the event in Birmingham. You got to go and do a test. And I don't know. I'm not trying to stereotype, but I have a feeling people who like Rachel from, 2 years ago that may just have been under a rock during all of her controversies, they might not want to be taking COVID tests, but, who knows? I don't know. That's just speculation. Who's to say? Commemorative VIP photo op laminate and lanyard. Okay, what is like a piece of paper that says you're a VIP? I guess that's not cool, but for some people, VIP entrance into the building. Okay, so you go through the side front door as opposed to the front door. On-site VIP host and event staff. Okay. All right. So do we know what the prices of these are on this website? Or I guess it depends on where you're at. So let's just use Birmingham as the example. So let's click. Hello. Loading. Okay, while that loads. Oh, wait. Okay, while it loads, does it say the prices? Okay, well, it looks like it goes up to $247. So $250 looks like it'll get you. Wait, that's 2 tickets. I guess it's still. Oh my God, it still is. And fees, $247. Holy schmoly! That's how much I paid for Rise Virtual for 3 days. It was not worth it, but at least you got other people performing, giving, recorded stand-up keynotes. Terry O'Leary, thank you very much. Okay. Terry says, and thank you so much. That is above and beyond. You did more than Dave was asking for.
18 stinking dollars.
Terry says, Kia, I will personally fund your VIP ticket and travel costs if you wear a Heidi Powell shirt in your photo. Oh my God, that would be so awkward. Okay, I don't think I can go VIP. I thought about this a few times. I think I need to go. I'm down to go. I think it would be crossing an ethical line for me to touch Rachel Hollis after all the shit I've talked on the internet. And I don't know if she would recognize me or if like the team has, because she blocked me on Instagram. So obviously there's some recognition that I'm not a good person to her. So I don't want to make it awkward. I don't want to go to Birmingham and then get kicked out or like cause a scene or make her scared. Like I don't want to do that to her or anyone, for that matter. So, it would have to be, any sort of meeting would have to be consensual in that sense of like if we were ever to meet, I would want it to be so that she was wanting to set the record straight or come on the show or like something like that. I don't want to, bombard her or make it weird. That's just that's my mindset. Maybe I could wear a Heidi shirt in the audience so that I could just like be back and observe from afar. Because I don't know. I don't want to, as much as like I go back and forth all the time, whether like what I'm doing is totally bullying or if I have legitimate things and it's just something I enjoy kind of like dissecting and this is totally fine. Or if I'm a crazy person and I need help or something. I go back and forth depending on the day. And I just don't want to cross that line so I think I want to keep doing this for a while as things develop because I find it interesting and as much as morally I start to go, am I insane? I talk myself out of it because I have so much fun doing these actual lives and the community is so cool and fun. So anyways, enough of my moral dilemmas. Okay, let's go back to talking shit about Rachel. Okay, so 250. I saw someone said that in Detroit it's like $300. That's crazy. So yeah, that's a lot. I think that is like, you know, if I'm paying that much, I want, and especially she's like, bring your friends. Like, you want me to pay $500 for us to go VIP, like to bring my, you know, fiance with me? Like, oh my God. Like, okay, if I go to Birmingham, which is probably the one I would go to, maybe Charleston would be the other one I would consider because that's closest to Florida. I have a friend, and so I would stay with my friend in Alabama, but I would have to bring her, obviously. Like, that would be, you know, part of the deal. Like, hey, can I stay with you? And like, I'll take you to this event and we can go. And, you know, she actually might enjoy it. She's kind of more on the positive side of things in the world. So maybe she'd actually like it. But that'd be $500 for the night. Like, if I wanted to go VIP, that's a lot that's a commitment, man, for me. I don't know. I know Rachel's friends and family don't have to fret about stuff like that, but you know, you're going to middle America. You ain't in the South. You're not going to LA and to New York, you know, as your location. So, anyways, yeah. So, you know, the prices seem to be varied. Again, this is like the pre-sale. I guess regular tickets go on sale tomorrow? Or am I, oh wait, yeah, right? Or am I behind another, I don't know. It's either we're in pre-sale still or the sales, I'm a day behind and they already went on sale, but I'm pretty sure it's pre-sales today. So, and you just needed a code, which is Rach Talk, I believe is the code, if I remember correctly from my email. If you're a part of her, like, exclusive Sunday email, you know, thing that you sign up for, and she talks about like which hair care she likes the best every Sunday, or what supplement she likes. Yeah, you got the free code. So the silver package is like you're in the first 20 rows and all the other crap minus you don't get the drink ticket. So you're really missing out if you don't do the full on thing. Another thing, a lot of the Instagrams for the different venues have either had no comments, like 5 likes, or I think on the one in, I forget which one it was, but one of them was like, there was like 20 comments and they were all like, I thought this woman didn't want to be relatable. Actually, let's find it because one of them was so good. The writing on it, like the copy that they use, it's so weird that she would use this copy. Obviously, it came from her because like the individual venues aren't going to all come up with literally word for word exactly the same, you know, writing. So it came from her team. It literally says like Rachel Hollis is, you know, the America's relatable sister. It's like, what? Like, what are you talking? Like, you're going to literally use the word relatable? Are you serious? Like, I could not believe it. It's shocking to me that they would include, you know, relatable in any way, in any copy moving forward. Okay, thank you, Rach, but not Rach. Damn, you guys are hitting it up tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, hold on. Before I read it.
It is 18 American dollars.
Damn, 18 American dollars. And Terry O'Leary's back.
18 stinking dollars.
With 18 stinking dollars plus $1, plus $2, actually. Dang. Okay. All right. Let's read them individually. Rach, but not Rach. One of my favorite users.
Rach,
But not.
Rach,
Says, there's so much ground to cover today. I hope your heart is ready. For 18 American dollars, my boo thing requests Dave's quote, "No, I'm talking about buying my book." Well, your request is my demand. No, your demand is my, I don't know. You got it. Here we go.
Dave, you're talking about peace, aren't you? No, I'm talking about buying my book.
Oh, gets me every time. Thank you, Rach, but not Rach. I really appreciate it. Terry says, need to address your guilt here. Legit, Kayla, your show and places like Reddit got me out of the self-help cult. You're not bullying anyone. You are a shining light and helping people fairly and honestly. Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Well, you know me.
I am all about getting a free ride.
And that's me. I appreciate it. I really do. It is something that I think it's good. I think it's healthy to think about that stuff and go, am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. And kind of weigh it as I go. Because if I don't, then I'll just, be an egomaniac. No, I don't think I would be. But, I think it's good to kind of gut check myself and then go, should I, tone it down, or should I do this or that? As long as the overarching goal remains the same, that it's to point out that there's all these inconsistencies and that it's actually okay to be less perfect, and her types of teachings are not coming from someone who's an expert, so beware. I could cut back on some of the personal attacks. I definitely could be better about that, but as long as my original goal is being upheld, then I think I'm okay. So thank you. And I appreciate hearing stuff like that because it makes me feel good. And Dave likes to hear stuff like this.
Oh, I love that sound.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Emily, I see your comment. Okay. NCH. Was that the one? Okay. I'm going to search it right now. NCHAS Coliseum. Yeah. The North Charleston one. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this is the venue for Charleston. So they have a bunch of, okay, what's coming up, like different events, and they probably just get it sent like somebody. So I think what she's doing, from what I can understand, Rachel's working with a team that's an external team that handles events, that does like outsourcing of events. I don't think she has internal people that work on this anymore. I just have a feeling. I think we're gonna watch the vlog, and she's like, "This is the whole team. The whole team is here," and there's literally 2 people and Rachel. That was my thought before. That was her team that was left over. She talks about this 60-person company. And that's gone. We know that's for sure, but I wasn't sure if there's like 10 people, 2 people. I think it's literally 2 people, and I think she confirmed that sort of in the vlog. But anyways, okay. So the external company, I believe, is handling the tour stuff, and they're probably the ones sending out the copy and whatever. So this is what the copy says. This is the picture that they're using. She's an angel levitating above in a director's chair with a cup of coffee and a purple magician suit. Just very appropriate for the event that we have no idea what it's actually going to be. But if you're interested to know what it's going to be like, this is what they say. Just announced, the self-care revolution has begun. Don't know what that is. Best-selling author, motivational speaker, and podcast host, Miss Rachel Hollis is bringing her relatable, hilarious lifestyle advice to the North Charleston PAC October 2nd with Rach Talk Live. Tickets go on sale Wednesday, June 27th. Okay, so tomorrow they go on sale. Can you believe? Is that like an oversight on their part, or are they just trying to make it seem like that never happened? The whole, I don't want to be relatable. What makes you think I want to be relatable? Well, this Instagram post makes me feel like you want to be relatable. Okay. Someone commented, "Oops, relatable. You nailed it. But when we had Toiletgate and Rach told us all that she works harder than anyone so she can be unrelatable. Good luck selling tickets, Rach. Good luck selling tickets. Rach has burned too many bridges, just like her song says." No, sis. I get up at 4 a.m. to work hard to make $1,000 just so I can attend this great event thinking RGB is back from the dead. No problem. I'll use the money to find a sweet lady to scrub my toilets. Oh my God. Also, in speaking of scrubbing toilets, in Girl Stop Apologizing, she actually talks about having a cleaning woman come and scrub her toilets. So this must be the way she's spoken about her cleaning person forever. That was not just an off the cuff moment where she like slipped up and like talked about, toilets because it was on her mind. No. It was in the book, printed. This is way before Toiletgate happened. This came out. I think this came out in 2019, I believe. Let me see. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is wrong with her? she had time to like think about this, and like she just thought, I guess, like, well, I put it in my book, so like no one cared then. Yeah, 2019. She was talking about toilet. This woman comes to clean my toilets. Now, she didn't say twice a week at that point. She said full time. She got a full-time house cleaner. And she comes and cleans the toilets. Like, why are you including the toilet? Again, this is my whole issue with the toilet gate. Why? We know house cleaners clean everything, I would assume. Why you gotta bring it up and emphasize toilet clean? Whatever. Anyways, okay. Big yikes, hard pass, disappointed she's going on tour, that she's got a platform. Oh wow, good thing I read her name. I thought it was Harriet Tubman for a second. Good Lord, I hope no one attends this. And there's a link to a video of her being blasted, comparing Harriet Tubman. Hard pass, this woman has preyed upon other women for years and reaped in millions of dollars off of the lie that her marriage was a good one. For anyone thinking about buying tickets, do your research before handing your hard-earned dollars to yet another charlatan in the self-help space. What makes you think I want to be relatable? Interesting. She went viral for saying she did want to be relatable. Which is it? Damn, you guys smoke. I don't know if it's you guys or if it's just people in Charleston are like, you know, up in arms, like, do not have this woman here. Charleston's lit. I actually do like Charleston a lot. And I went on a boat tour and it was beautiful. Yeah. So again, I'm going to be shocked if 10 rows of tickets are like sold at all. Okay. So that's that. You know, we can talk about prices forever. We already watched the video of her, you know, talking about it and whatnot. So I'm over it. But let's talk about, while we're still on Rachel, let's talk about her picture over the weekend or whenever that was. Yeah, I think it was over the weekend. I'm not going to show it. That's too crossing the line for me. Again, you know, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't show the kids at all, but I feel like it's important to understand like what they're sharing. And if you wanted to go look at it, you could just Google it in 1 second. So, you know, in that case, I'm like, I'll show it, even though I disagree. Anyways, so it was a picture of 5-year-old Noah standing on the couch, braiding or playing with, I believe it was Sawyer's hair. And he's like playing a video game. And it was a Polaroid shot. So it was a picture that was meant to be, you know, obviously a physical picture, not on a phone. And it was snapped. And Noah does not have a shirt on. She's got like little leggings, but no shirt. And you can, oh, hi, Taro. Hold on. And you can clearly see that she's, you know, doesn't have a top on. It's not like you see her front and her back. Come on. No. Anyways, so, you know, personally, the photo, I don't have a problem with the photo. I think whatever you want to do in your home, as long as it's, you know, within reason and not harming anybody, you know, that's fine. Like if you want to walk around and take pictures and that's your family photos and you put it in an album and your friends come over and your family, like that's fine. I'm not saying what she did was wrong, like outright wrong. Posting it, so then she took, basically what she did, she took the Polaroid, took a photo of the Polaroid and then posted that on her Instagram. And again, she's got 1.5 million followers. Are gonna see a 5-year-old topless. Like, I know it's a lot of people were commenting on it saying like, a lot of people were like, take this down now immediately. The other side of it was like, oh my gosh, what a dirt, like your minds are in the gutters. How, like, you guys are the wrong ones. You guys are the sick ones for thinking that like this is a bad photo. It's like, have you been on the internet at all? Like, have you been around the last 20, 30 years? Like, do you know what people do on the internet with photos like this? Like, it's disgusting. And there's people that, like, there's whole shows about this and how, like, predators are just waiting to, you know, talk to children and, I don't know. It's like a whole, you know, there's like two sides to every, like, oh, you're negative for thinking this. Well, you're wrong for not protecting your children. Anyways, a lot of people reported it. Rightfully so. I think, it's inappropriate. It just doesn't need to be there. You're a motivational speaker. Get your kids off of there in the first place. Do not post them topless, especially a little girl. It's like, come on. People are like, oh, if it was a boy, no one would care. It's like, okay, great, wonderful. That's like your own opinion about this. But like, regardless, the kids can't decide. This little girl can't go and she doesn't have physical access to an Instagram or to tell her mom like, hey, I don't want my photo on the internet forever. When this girl is going to be, an adult woman, she wants this little photo of her online. Like, maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she does. It's not, but she doesn't have a choice in the matter right now. And that's the thing that bothers me. So yeah, I was not for that. I think, part of me, the cynical part of me, and of course I was, on my vacation reading the Girl Stop Apologizing in my free time at the pool. So I was kind of reacclimating myself to the boss babe Rachel, that, pre-spirituality, I'm the only hippie Rachel. And part of me goes, the cynical side of me goes, she knew it was going to be controversial. She knew posting that was going to become a thing. It could have even been a news article. It didn't, I don't believe, but it could have been. That she didn't care if it was negatively taken or positively taken. She knew it was controversial, so it would bring debate, which would bring engagement to her Instagram, which then would be, showing on the bio, Rach Talk Live Tour 2022. Oh, here's my Rach Talk cities. Part of me goes, okay, she's desperate for ticket sales. She's desperate for attention, for eyeballs on this thing that she's putting all this effort in. And, it looks like from the outside, like, what are you doing? But to her, maybe this is like her last ditch effort to make a comeback. I don't know. So that part of me goes, maybe that was part of the plan. Like, let's post something crazy and let people fight it out in the comments, and then we can just get people that are on my side to defend me and buy my, podcast live ticket for $200 because I don't know. That was my thought. Maybe it just was like an oversight on her part, but it's like, she's like, I've been around the internet since the beginning. She said that literally in a podcast that I listened to today. So it's like, you should know better. This is not her first rodeo. She's been viral before, posting her stretch mark photo. She's done the rounds. She's a mogul. She got a little media mogul tattoo on her wrist. It's like, girl, if you don't know by now that is not that the hot take is don't do that, then I don't know what mogul you are. Anyways, so that was my 2 cents about it. I think it got pulled. I don't think she pulled it herself. I believe that it got taken down because some of the stuff on Reddit was saying, like, people who reported it said that they reviewed it and decided that it was inappropriate, so they took it down. Yeah, I think that was the right choice. Maybe she accomplished what she was out to accomplish. Maybe she just didn't know. That's my less cynical side believes that, but yeah. Anyways. Okay. And I didn't see her page. I don't know what this is. I haven't watched it. Oh yeah. So she looks great. Let me just say, she looks younger now than she did when she was in her 20s. I guess that's because she's got money now. She got Botox now. She's got hoop earrings now. She's looking young. Now, I listened to this too on my way to therapy. I have nothing really to say about this podcast specifically, this LGBTQ+. I think, again, the timing of it is sus a little bit. Like, okay, she's been sitting on this for like her son. So basically her son came out to her when he was 13. And there was already some speculation that was occurring because she's like alluded to it a few times. But now she's officially said, like, he's allowed me to come out and say this, and he's very happy and she put it under the guise of a listener to the podcast was asking a question, and so this is her way of like answering the question, of course using her own life story. again, I think she kind of saved some of the juicier podcast topics for when she had something better to sell us. But again, you know, maybe it's not. Maybe it just is organic and I'm just a troll, you know, and think like everything she does is wrong. So, what she said, I think was good. I think it was a good message, strong message. You know, support your kids. Don't, you know, shun them. Podcast. I mean, that was like kind of the gist, and she got emotional. Again, like showing this part on here, you know, not manipulative, but a little bit exploitative to me. You know, your kid, this is his story, and now you're making it into a snackable, social media, shareable moment. You know, I don't know. I think your kids should be free to just like live their life, please. Like, but you know, that's not the world we live in. So, Darby DeFord. Thank you so much. A rainbow, yes. We love rainbows here.
Dave, you're talking about peace, aren't you? No, I'm talking about buying my book.
It's, well, I guess, like, so on my screen, I have like different photos that represent the different buttons. And that one's a peace sign with a rainbow tie-dye. So I was like, oh, that's rainbow. It doesn't say anything rainbow.
It's okay to cry.
That's what I would tell Rachel. It's okay to cry. I'm glad that she, you know, has those beliefs, honestly, and she's supportive of her son who came out to her. That's cool. I got no problems with that whatsoever. So that was today. Okay. Yeah, and again, it's like, it's Pride Month. Like, you know, was that part, like, were they holding on to this? Like, what, you know, it comes off as like, oh, just yesterday, this person sent me this message, and like, I just wanted to address it today. It's like, did you? Or, you know, have you been like playing this like strategically? Like, okay, on this day, right after ticket sales go on sale, the next day, pre-sale, we're going to post the LGBTQ, you know, related podcast where I talk about my son's experience. That'll get the people going. You know, I don't know. Again, all speculation. Let's see what her story is.
Morning, guys.
Oh, God.
I haven't even had my coffee yet.
She said, oh God, I can't keep up. I cannot keep up with these people. Like 1 second they're not drinking caffeine. They're giving it all up alcohol. And then the next minute they're like back to it and they don't tell us. Okay. So she's got her sweet voice on for this. These are her sweet voice stories.
Because I woke up in Hawaii and pre-sale tickets are on sale. And I didn't wake up before they went on sale. So I'm making a video immediately to tell you, if you are on the email list, your code to get pre-sale access is in your email that came out today, and then tomorrow it goes on sale to everybody else. I'm going to link to information so you can check out the website, but thank you to all.
I love how it just cuts off. Heidi does it all the time. She'll be in the middle of a thought. She'll say like, and guys, I just want to tell you that, and then like it cuts off and then you never know what the thing was. It's like, oh yeah, one more thing. So blah, 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 and then it goes to like some picture of, you know, her at the gym, not doing arm weights, definitely doing leg day every day. Okay, so she's happy about this. Pre-sales here.
We are creating a space.
You're catching me fresh off a COVID crash.
We are creating
That's
a space of
grammar.
love and support.
And like, I don't know. Again,
We
like,
are creating a space.
adding music to it to make it inspirational. Like this is a speech. And I think what she thinks, it's like, okay, mom, podcaster Rachel Hollis stands up for son who's gay. Like that's what I think she's hoping like the blogs do, which it doesn't exist anymore. I don't think, especially for her, like anyone that's going to support her is going to do it silently. I think at this point, I don't know. I just, again, like a lot of people are saying that, you know, like just because he said it's okay doesn't mean that she should have. And I don't know. I don't know what he wants. He's also like 16 years old. So how do you really know the implications of 1.5 million people in the world, including your high school, having this information, having like knowing what your mom thinks about it, you know, knowing that other family members don't like it. I don't know. I don't know if he knows, but that you're a social media kid or a social media family. Like I don't know. I hate it all, honestly. But it is what it is. It could be worse, I guess. She could be against it, so at least let's be happy about that. Okay, so let's get rid of Says Darke. We're gonna talk about him later. Speaking of children, Heidi reposted this video of her poor daughter upset because she was having a fight with her brothers, and she was waiting outside to talk to Heidi and Dave while they were on vacation in Hawaii, and they're like laughing at her hysterically because she's upset about being bullied or whatever by her brothers. It's probably not a big deal, but like, why? Again, she's got 500,000 followers, and she's gonna embarrass her kids so that's gonna be a teenager in just a few years. You think Ruby, that's her name, Ruby, do you think she's gonna like that when she's in high school and the kids in the class go, oh my god, remember when you were 10 and your mom posted this? Give these kids a chance, man. I don't know. Heidi's being quiet. Her and Dave are kind of in a fight, so it seems, or something. They were in Hawaii together. It looked like she was like, he's such a great father figure in my kid's life. This comes on the heels of them, Dave and Heidi, saying that they were just friends. Then they were vacationing together with all their kids. All the kids were together again. The 8 children, the brood were together. But then Dave went back to Arizona, and then he flew back to Hawaii to pick up the kids. Then he went to Mexico with his family. She went to California. These people travel so goddamn much. It's amazing how much money they have. It's crazy. They've taken so many trips the last 2 years. And as someone who just took a trip for 1 week to a fairly inexpensive place, I got a flight deal. I got the Airbnbs were cheap, all the stuff was cheap. I'm like, man, I can't spend money for a while now. That was it for a while. That was our fun. Well, I'm about to go to New York soon, but Steven's family lives there, so we have a place to stay. But that's more of a family trip. But God, can you imagine going to Hawaii, going back to Hawaii, going to Texas, going to Arizona, going to California, going to Mexico again, going to Mexico by yourself? I was like, oh my God, they got that cash. They got that self-help cash. So yeah, I don't even want to watch this. We can watch her stories, but this stupid video, it's just embarrasses her. And I don't know. It's not even funny at all. Okay, I haven't seen this. Love these kids and the kind of people in our lives who shower them with so much love.
It actually is.
Oh God. Okay, hold on.
Oh boy, you're gonna have to open it up. Ready? Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Huh?
Yes.
It actually is gonna go perfect on your skin tone. Oh.
My tan skin.
And next up, we have Maddox. Ready?
You know who you are. We love you. Oh, look. Is that Dave? I don't know.
3, 2, 1. Spice Girls. Do you love it? Hold on. You got one more thing.
But that's not all, folks. A true friend knows to pay Ellsworth some attention. Okay, this whole thing, I don't care about this. This whole thing is a joke that Dave came up with to make fun of the teenage son who's got a mustache. I don't get it at all. But whatever. Whatever. Before I move totally off Rachel, well, I guess we're going to go back to Rachel, but off the topic of Rach Talk, her Vimeo, they got rid of all of the other sales funnel videos, finally, and now just have Rach Talk and Rise event videos. However, you can see, this is wait, can you see it? Dang. I could see the view count before. It was 1,400 people clicked on the video. Oh, no, you can see it. 1,200. So this is the thing that they embedded on all the sales pages. 1,200 people watching this probably doesn't equate to, 1,200 people buying tickets. I would imagine it's probably a percentage. Are you guys fighting? Do you hear that? It's pandemonium in here. Excuse me. So just more proof that I think, or not proof, more suggestiveness that I don't think the tickets are going to sell out. Very far from it. Okay. MP says, maybe Dave and Rachel will get back together. I'm telling you, that's the smartest move. I said it from the beginning. No, I haven't. I said it from 6 months ago. That's the best chance they got to really get their careers back. But then again, the guy that Rachel's dating seems to be rich, so it's like maybe she's fine. Maybe she doesn't want her career back secretly because the decisions she's making don't make sense. Okay. And Rachel, I was promised Rach Talks on Monday, and now I mean, Rach, she said she was doing the vlogs in place of Rach Talk, but now the vlog there's only been 2 vlogs. And this one that we're going to watch, half of it is an ad. So we'll cut it at the ad part because we've already seen it, essentially. We already talked about it. It's an ad for Rach Talk. So, 10-minute video, 4 minutes of it is actual somewhat new content. Anyways, okay, let's watch it. This is Rachel's first week in Hawaii. This is the second vlog of the summer. And it was pretty boring, but we'll watch it because it's short.
Okay, so it's our first day in Hawaii, and normally I love coming here because I love to go on long runs, I love to sweat, and there's a yoga studio.
Yes, this is why I want to go to Hawaii too. I love to sweat. You can run in Texas too and sweat there as well. But yeah, that's why I want to go to Hawaii as well. I like to be out. I like to go to the yoga studio in Hawaii specifically. That's the only reason.
Here.
She's got her backwards hat, so she must be in her athletic Rise fitness app mode.
I really dig, but my teenagers asked if I would do, if we could do daily workouts. So we're gonna go in the backyard and do our first one of daily workout circuit training with teenage boys. So that's what we're doing now.
They probably want to do workouts because they've been bullied into it by Heidi. Her whole family trying to, and Dave now trying to be a fitness influencer. The kids are probably like pressured, like, all right, better get on the bandwagon. Okay, this part I was like, should she be filming her kids? They seem annoyed.
I don't have a video for you of our workouts because teenage boys will not allow that on YouTube.
Pump it up! Let's go! Up! Woo! Woo! Ow!
But we are now looking cute.
See, the boy said they don't want that on YouTube. Okay, so that's good. They're setting boundaries. That's good. So the teenagers know, don't put that on YouTube, please.
Yeah. You can have a black tea. You got it, bro.
What's this for?
This is for my vlog.
We're vlogging now?
We're vlogging for summer. There you go. There's Sawyer. This.
Didn't look thrilled by it. He's like, oh, you're vlogging now? Okay, great. I've already been, captured on 77,000 videos on Heidi's account. Can't wait to be in this video. It must be annoying. It must be annoying.
This is my podcast setup for Hawaii, which is a little ridiculous, but it's okay if you have the ocean outside the window. Pretty epic.
That is pretty epic. That's a nice house. Did she buy this house? I forget. I didn't listen to the Hawaii episode. I don't know if I should because I don't know if I care enough. But I mean, I care. I'll listen to it at some point. But if we should watch it on the live or not, let me know what you think. But that's got to be a multi-million-dollar property. How do they have money? How do they have all this money? Ugh.
So every morning that we are here, for as long as we have been coming here, we walk on the beach at sunrise. And I don't know, it's just like this really amazing way to sort of ground yourself and get your feet in the sand and go slow. And we've been coming here for so long that we know everybody on the beach. We know their dogs. It's really, really special. Still there?
Yeah. I've seen.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's big. What if it bites you?
Not bite.
Oh, what if it pinches you?
I don't care.
All right, maybe we should put it back.
Yeah. Be free.
because I get up so early in Hawaii, I have to.
Because I get up so early that it literally determined my success in life, and it's the one thing that I will never stop talking about no matter what. I eat bananas. We know you get up early, Rachel. We know your wake up times 5 in the morning or 3:30, depending on like what day it is. So much better than us. We know. God.
Breakfast. So this is, don't mind my children. I always have 2 breakfasts. This is first breakfast. It's banana and then nut butter. I really love, you guys have probably heard me talk about my favorite nut butter, but I can't get it on the island. So in the meantime, I just get this at Whole Foods, and it's pretty good. But yeah, first breakfast. Can I?
Thank you, Albanese. Albanese, did you ever watch Oz back in like the 90s, early 2000s? There's a character called Alabisi. And I just thought that was something you should know. It's a good show. Albanese says, Rach is the how you doing fellow kids meme if it was a person. Hashtag rad. Yes. Do you want a bevy? Are you like a bougie like me? Well, slay on down to Rach Talk Live to watch me live. I'm Rach and I talk. Yeah. I definitely get I'm a fellow kid. I'm a millennial vibe. It's like, are you? What do they say? Like they call it like the older millennials. I think she is a millennial technically, but so am I. And I feel like she's definitely much more mature than me in the sense of like life experience, obviously. But yes, I agree. I agree with you, Albanese. Now I'm gonna call you the other name, Albanese. Okay, back to the children. So, like, again, what is this help? Like, this is just, like, what is this content? Just my family? It's, like, becoming family vlog. I don't know why. Like, for someone to go, I'm a mogul. I'm a media mogul. Like, I don't know what Rupert Murdoch's kids looked like. I don't know anything about his life. That's the thing. If you're a media mogul, shouldn't you be creating content that's unrelated to you, or at the very least unrelated to your children? Whatever. Back to Noah at the beach.
Okay, you're ready.
This is like all they have left. Her and Dave have like the kids being cute.
Team.
Okay, here we go. There's the team. There's literally 2 people. That's Jack. That's a person. She's the one showing that. That's the team, she says. 60 people down to 2, it looks like. I'm saying, she thinks she's a mogul. She fucked that up pretty good. We don't talk about that failure, right? Right? I tell you everything. I tell you guys everything. What happened to 58 people? We're not going to talk about that. Okay, anyways.
There's everybody. How's your work?
I was gonna make a video.
That's everybody. See, she said that. That's everybody. 2 people.
There's the team. There's everybody. How's your work?
I was gonna make a video of me making second breakfast, and
That was Jack. Yes, Jack. That was Jack. I mean, that's unconfirmed, but yes, 100% positive that's Jack. He's a furry? What? Wait, let's go back. Did you see that in his background or something? I need to confirm.
Your work.
Must confirm.
There's the team. There's.
Oh yeah, it does say Jack right there. So, confirmed. I don't see any furry stuff.
Everybody.
Is that insider intel?
How's your work?
I was gonna make a video of me making.
Yeah, hashtag free Jack. Let me play that sound real quick.
Jack
Jack is loyal, man. If you're looking for loyalty, Jack's got it.
making second breakfast, and I forgot, but this is second breakfast. It looks blue because of blueberries, but it's actually green smoothie. Also, this is why we can't have nice things. Good morning.
She's so relatable. She spilled something on herself, guys. I will say, at least she's not drinking that god-awful green smoothie anymore. It's now purple. It's much better, and she seems to enjoy it better. So, progress, I guess.
I did wash my face for you guys because Jack was like, hey, vlog's coming out today, and you have not talked about a really big happening, which is announcing the
Such an abrupt music cut. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, so here's my sales pitch. So that was 3 minutes, okay, of content. The rest is selling the podcast live event.
cities for tour. And so I
tour.
did not put on, I just kept my jams on.
Yikes.
But I did wash my face for you.
That was a little
also, some pretty interesting, I maybe need some little like eye pat. Hold on. Okay, I thought that I had eye gel thingies, but I don't. So I'm just gonna use the the jade roller to try and get a little cooling action, a little something for the bags, because I did cry. I did cry a lot yesterday because my period is just like moments from starting, and my kids went for the afternoon to hang out with their dad, and so I just had a few hours to cry, and I did. I watched Downton Abbey and the new movie, and FYI, that will make you cry. Oh my God, Downton Abbey! I was not prepared. I door dashed a burger, and I won't be judged, and yeah. And I just had some big hormonal cry. And I don't know about you, but sometimes you need to just let yourself, like I really felt like I needed to cry, but like it didn't have it in me. And so I watched Lava, which is
Well, I gotta say, what's the point of doing the under eye roller if you're already talking on camera? Like, what are you doing? This is for after, like when you get off the camera, or is it to be relatable? Because that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, oh my God, guys, like I cried so much. Like I have to fix this. Fix this for what? You've already showed your face. You're not re-recording anything that I can tell. So like this is better. This is like putting this thing under here the whole time while you talk is better. I think it's, again, like, okay, be relatable. Be like that girl that just, like, you know, she doesn't, you don't wake up with like no bags in your eyes. You're just a normal girl. Just do that the whole time so that people think that you're normal. It's like, okay, it's a little distracting, I guess. I don't care, but it's just like a little distracting.
Disney. If you've never seen the Disney short Lava, when that volcano thinks that he's about to die alone.
Okay, so I saw that her video got copyrighted for playing that, so I'm going to skip that.
I go in every time. So I had a good cry. That's not the point, guys. The point is that it's a big day today. It's a big day today. Today is when we are officially announcing the cities for tour. It's 11 cities. I'm really hopeful that this is the start of a much bigger thing, but these are our 11 cities. I'm really excited because I've only been to one of them before. And Jack put together this whole video, which I am going to show you in 1 second, but it also just made me really excited because it's been so long since we've had a legit, like, in-person conference. And I was watching the footage that he put together, and I felt really...
She had one in 2021, just no one went to it. That was the problem. It was COVID, but not really. It was, you know, it was last Memorial Day or Labor Day. Memorial Day was like May. So May 2021, that's when I went to. So it virtually. So it's like, oh, it's been so long. It's like, not really. I mean, maybe since it was a good one. Okay, that's mean, sorry.
Really proud of the team we have today and the team we've had over the last 5 years, even people who've moved on and do other things now. We have built something really amazing, and it's not cocky. I don't think anybody produces events for women like we do. I don't know anybody else who puts this much time and intention into just making something really great. And I'm so excited that we get to bring that out into the world again, and that for the first time ever.
again, like, okay, so the way she's describing it here is like, okay, it's a conference. It's to inspire and like motivate women, women's conference, women's event. But then if you read the ticket sale page, it's like, come hang out with your friends and sip a bev while you laugh hysterically at relatable lifestyle advice. It's like, which one is it? Their messaging is confusing. I'm going back a little bit just to recap about what she's saying, like, because it sounds very much like, and then they're playing footage of Rise where everyone's hugging and crying. It's like, what is this gonna be? I don't think they have it figured out. They're like, we put so much intention. The intention is whatever sells tickets because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. But, that's a good intention, making money. But I don't know if it's as intentional as she's making it seem, because I don't know what this is even for, or who it's for, or who would enjoy this, or what am I going to do there? Only thing I've seen is I can buy merch and drink alcohol. 2 things I ain't going to do. So... that's it for me, girl.
Great, and I'm so excited that we get to bring that out into the world again, and that for the first time ever we're going city to city, which allows us to keep our costs really low, which allows us to keep our ticket prices really low. I'm super pumped, and I hope you guys are too. I hope that one of these cities is your cities and that you'll come hang out with us. Jack's gonna be there, Asan's gonna be there, Rosie's gonna be there, Caitlin's gonna be there. We're really pumped, and we got a whole new like group of friends who's coming out with us and helping us to produce this show. So all of that
That's what I thought, like an event company, a group of friends is gonna come help us. Like, okay, so you hired a team, external. I mean, less risk. You just have to pay for the, you hope that it pays off.
say big news today, and we're gonna let Jack show you this amazing video he made where my eyes are not puffy and my hair looks much better, and I hope you guys enjoy. Guys,
I think she looks better in the other shot. To be honest. Okay, that's me. Yeah. So, and I see some people said about like a dig at Heidi. Probably, yeah. Oh, we make women's events. I mean, Heidi makes a women's event. That is about, it was more expensive than Rachel's Rise, but it was also smaller. So you could argue that, a more intimate event could be more expensive. But, yeah, I think, that is sort of a subtle dig, if not intentional. I don't know. Let me not chew this on camera. Sorry. I forgot where I was. Okay, so that's Rachel's vlog. Yippee! Rachel's vlog. What was this? Oh yeah, this is just more of like what the theater looks like in Alabama. Okay, so that's Rachel. We can stick with Rachel. Or we could go to Dave and talk about his Father's Day post. I mean, Dave is sort of... Oh, Dave is back. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that. Dave is back on the interwebs. What's his name? There he is. He's back on his own account on Instagram. This one, as you remember, he came back to say he wasn't ready to come back. That was May 7th. Then he has been posting up a storm on his stories. Then he posted another grid post on one day ago. Heidi liked it. It only got 5,000 likes, which is sort of low for a 441,000 follower. His last one, by contrast, got 33,000. So kind of surprising that he fell so far down. But this is his dad, and apparently this is Dave Sr. That's the kids and him. Dave looks like he's aged quite a bit since 2 years ago when he had remember he had a mohawk? He looks so much younger then. I guess it's the beard. He doesn't look bad. Like if I saw this person in this photo, I'd be like, well, that's a good looking guy, good looking dude in his 40s. But I guess if you knew him from before, it is a change. It's probably travel worn, he's been traveling. God, it's quite a bit. All right. So that's Dave. Let's see what he's up to. If you haven't already, you should totally sign up for my email. It's not fancy, but I write one every week or so. New one out today with a link to my blog. And it says, hello, friends. Hope this Monday finds your week off to a great start. Just a quick note to celebrate all the dads out there and those that love them. Coming off a Father's Day weekend that found me for the first time ever waking up to coffee with both my dad and my kids. I count myself lucky for the weekend that was. Oh, God. Fatherhood and parenting in general is among the best and most rewarding parts of my life, and it's also right up there with the most challenging things I'm fortunate enough to do. Sitting next to my pop, I did a little reflecting in this week's blog about why we celebrate dads and the way we did this last weekend, and why parenting can feel so stinking hard sometimes. So stinking.
18 stinking dollars.
It's stinking. Poor little Noah's like, don't say stinking. Don't say stinking. And then she's like, I'm hungry. And he ignored her. Okay, just want to remind everyone about that scene. Sitting next to my pocket. For me, it's that every single time I think I get the hang of it, the people, circumstances, and needs of my crew immediately and forever change. And I'm right back at square one, learning how to do something new all over again and again. A quick read from a non-expert dad in this week's blog. Okay. Oh yeah. So I don't actually know, Emily. I don't actually know. That was like just me speculating. Because they were so up each other's ass while in Hawaii. Like every second was I mean, that's because Heidi was there too. But it was like recording and like, this is such a great man in my life. And like, let me show you, I can lift you up. And like, here's Dave. Oh, I love him so much. Oh my gosh, this woman is amazing. This is a wedding dress I'm going to wear. Maybe if I ever get married again one day. It was like so much. So I just felt like the tone has gone down completely since then. Because now he's with his family and she's with her mom. And it just seems like it's a little cold between them, but that could just be they're not together and she doesn't have access to film 24/7. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Some people have said that he got veneers. I can't tell. He could have just got them like supremely whitened, perhaps. And yeah, this is his blog, by the way. This is how long it is. It's so long. Look, he scrolled how long it is. Yeah, we don't have to read it. We can listen to Rachel's podcast. It's more interesting. Because Dave, I just don't care. I just don't care. Let's stay connected outside of social, but I'm going to also be on social now again. Yeah. Yeah, so I can't tell. Like, okay, here you can kind of see he's got like normal teeth. So it seems normal. And then it looks, yeah, I guess maybe he did. These look much more, they look good. They're natural because I didn't tell the first time. But unconfirmed. If you got veneers, good for you. I mean, Heidi's got veneers on half her teeth for some reason. She's got like the bottoms or the tops have them, but the other one doesn't because she still shills the whitening Luminix product. So she's got to keep some real teeth to have that deal, I guess. But I could be wrong. It could be just the lighting. It could be, a myriad number of things that makes his smile look different. So who knows? Again, speculation. Good if you could have he's got money to blow apparently. And then Rachel also said that she's the one supporting him financially. Well, she didn't say that exactly, but she said, I took the financial burden during the divorce and I'm supporting the family. So maybe he's got like spousal support to just like, isn't that crazy? Isn't marriage such a weird institution? Spousal support. When you're making like $1 million or you have like, you worked at Disney and made like 7 figures allegedly, and you get spousal support from someone who made more money. It's like, is that the way we should be distributing wealth in this country? Okay. This goes off the rails into a complete other conversation. Okay, bye Dave. I'm bored of you. Yeah, but if you want to read this, let's just read like one sentence like randomly and we'll just have fun with it. I have not read this yet. Okay. When I rummage through my old memory boxes, I'm hard-pressed to find a team photo where he wasn't the coach growing up. He's a model of his faith, both in how he lives his life, but also in how he calls each of his 4 kids on their crap when we color a little too far outside the lines. He's a deeply feeling 6'4" giant of a man filled with emotion like his oldest son, just a lot less talkative. He taught me poker, which I clean up in, and golf, which I still can't figure out. He's pop to my kids, and a good one at that. You could have just left it at that, Dave. I think that was the perfect paragraph to summarize your relationship with your father. Don't need more than that, but 25 pages later, we got more than that. Okay. Let's go to, and I believe he's still off of Spotify. That has never been addressed, as far as I know. Like, what happened? Why did you stop putting Rise Together on why can I talk? Why did you stop putting Rise Together on Spotify? Maybe he just forgot one day, just never did it again. That's my guess. Okay, so my thoughts. Do you guys want to read? No, let's not read it. I don't want everyone to like go off and leave this stream because I don't want to read it. So I probably won't. I'm a dad, and being a dad means that being a father inside of this world that we call crazy hard stuff with our kids, but they are so stinking great, and I am just so blessed to have the people in my life and the things that I have, and I'm just learning. I'm a work in progress. I am just a man building a rocket on the sails of a ship where my wind was blown here and there and dither and quither, and my, relationships with everyone is wonderful, and my friends are making me dinners. So it's like, oh, I can't read anymore. I can't do it anymore. I've read enough Dave content for a lifetime. I need a break. So we'll listen to Rachel. That's my executive decision. Let's see. So leadership style, I think, is the best, unless we do summer in Hawaii. But I think I'd like leadership style. That was kind of the juicier one for me. The one for me. So, yeah. Okay, thank you for the support. I can only put you guys through so much torture. And honestly, I hate to, well, I don't hate to say it. Dave, as I've, have some sympathy for him by reading these books and like going, oh man, like Dave kind of got like the shit end of the deal, like in these books. And I kind of understand, or I think like I would take his side going back in time. I'm like, I'm giving him all of this like benefit of the doubt. I'm like, I can't even get involved anymore. Like, let me just give him the benefit of the doubt and move on with my life, because otherwise I'll take it all back. So anyways, okay. This is called 296, My Leadership Style. And, she talks about her boo thing in here, and I said it already, but in case you missed it, she's going to talk about their sex life a bit, and it comes off as very defensive to me, the way she said it, but we'll listen. She kind of is more open-ish in this one. All right, so let's go.
That's the sound of a crack.
Oh, and also, there's like an ad in the beginning of this, like a real estate ad. I've never heard that at the top of the episode, so I'm a little bit surprised.
The expertise.
So we're going to skip ahead the whole way.
Or you're helping me bag the groceries.
Oh, God. Okay. This is how she's a steward of niceness. Unless you're on a plane with her, or unless... Yeah, whatever. We'll get to it. Okay.
My podcast. I spend
What happened to dinosaurs? Okay, let's go.
Life and how to be an entrepreneur. All understand. These are conversations
Of the Rachel Hollis podcast.
Okay.
Today, we're talking about leadership. I mean, this subject has been discussed from probably every angle under the sun forever and ever. Amen. And it's been discussed by some of the world's greatest minds and thinkers and teachers and pastors and leaders. And it's also been discussed by me. I've written about leadership and talked about it quite a bit. And that has come from, I guess, however many years of entrepreneurship at this point, 18, 19, I always forget the exact number, but I have owned a company for a very long time, and I got my first.
She owned a company for a very long time, but she also owned like several different ideations of said company. So is it really fair to say like, I've owned a company? It's like you were an event planner, party planner, wedding planner, and then you had a blog and you were a food blogger primarily is what she says, because she came out with a cookbook. And then she now then switched to women's empowerment live event company. So kind of went back to her roots, but totally in a different way, where she's the host and the star. Now she's a media mogul, you know, quote unquote. It's like, is that? I mean, I guess, yes, you had multiple companies. Oh, there's Kitty running from the dog. But totally, and it wasn't like, oh, I've ran a successful business for 20 years. It's like you've ran like 6 different businesses semi-successfully for, you know, on and off 20 years. I don't know. Is that good? Maybe. Could it be better? Yeah, I think.
Employee, probably a year and a half in to having the company. So I've had employees and freelancers and partners and contract workers and, you know, 60 full-time salaried 401k health insurance employees. And I've had teams where it was just freelancers. I've sort of done everything.
Can you relax, please? We can't hear the show. There's a war going on. Team Dave, Team Rachel. They're battling it out right now in animal speak. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, hello. This is Rufus, everybody. Hold on. Let me go to the big screen. There's Rufus and Taro's ears. We're having an animal show tonight. Welcome to Animal Planet. He's so big, I'm telling you. He's huge. It's okay. It's okay. She's so bothered. Hey, okay. All right, I can't imagine having children. Like, this is already too much for me. All right, back to the show.
In between. And beyond how leadership shows up in business, I think it's also really...
Oh, I was going to say, she talks about like her 60 employees with 401ks. Okay, yeah, I agree that happened, but like that was 2-3 years ago. What is it now? You said in the vlog it was 2. So isn't that a huge deal? Like, I just feel like that's the biggest thing. It's like, if you were like, okay, I'm going to listen to this person with business advice. Oh, what did she do? Well, she had a company of 60 people 2 years ago. Now she has a company of 2. It's like, isn't that a failed business? I mean, I guess you've like kept it going. So I guess it's not a failure per se, but like with no explanation, like there's no like, hey, this is what I'm going through. Like, I'm going to tell you my mistakes, what happened, none of it. I mean, she got canceled is what happened. So how do you explain that away? But it's like all this business advice is irrelevant to me, because I'm like, I want to listen to people who are succeeding and growing, not like changing every 5 years and just starting a new business whenever like the wind blows. But I mean, whatever, that's me. Okay.
Important to understand that when we talk about leadership, I really believe that means leading your family. That means leading your friend group, your community, the people at school, the people at church. I think that each and every one of us has influence in our own way, whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, whether you have a team below you at work, or you're a mighty one-man army, whatever it looks like. I believe that we all lead, even if the only person that you're leading is yourself. And so I thought it would be interesting to explore this topic through the lens of how I see it.
I'm a leader. Oh yeah? How big is your team? What do you lead? I lead myself. All right, that's good. Welcome to this conference about leadership. Who are you going to lead? I'm going to lead my team of 1. All right.
Because I think that going through COVID changed, obviously, so many things, but it definitely changed the way that I lead myself, and it changed the way I lead my children, and it changed the way I lead my team. And I thought it might be interesting to hear about those shifts and see if they resonate with you, or if there's something that might be helpful to you in your own life. As always, with the ideas I share, take what works for you and leave the rest. But here is what I thought of when I thought of this term. I guess I want to start with definitions because I really love words and I love their meaning. And I always think that there's deeper meaning.
I was thinking about this too when I was reading the books over. Like she really talks about how much she loves knowledge and loves reading and learning and education and the brain and all this. Like, why don't you go back to school? Why don't you go to school in the first place? Like, she dropped out of acting college. She talked about that a little bit. She dropped out her first year when she met Dave and worked at Miramax and all that. So she didn't give it much of a chance. I mean, now she could go back to school. If you really loved learning the way that she claims, like, I just love words and the meaning, like, wouldn't you maybe take a step back or go? She says she works 3 hours a day. Maybe, like, go to school, go take a course, like something that's more interested in that pursuit as opposed to giving out advice all the time or making vlogs about your kids at the beach. Like, I just don't really buy it then, because it's like, oh, I only like education that I can read in 5 seconds in a listicle. Like, that's not really education. So do you really like education, or you like to tell people what to do after reading one article? That's what I think it is. But, she frames it up like, oh, I'm the biggest nerd you'll ever meet. I'm such a buff on history. I'm such a whatever, I'm obsessed with words and their origins. It's like, you could be more. You could go study it if you really wanted to. There's nothing holding you back from that. But I digress. Okay, bye.
Meaning, or even the root word, or whatever. But
whatever.
Leadership means to lead a group or an organization somewhere, right? That is to lead. What I actually think of as true leadership, or the way that I try to approach this topic, is really stewardship. Stewardship was a word that I grew up hearing a lot about because I grew up in the church, and, I always heard those scriptures that were like, to be a good steward, or what does it mean to be a good steward? And it was a word that I sort of had whispered over me a lot over the last 18 months. And
18
I say that
months.
Phrase a lot. I say like the words that I hear whispered, or when you hear me talk about that, if you're not familiar or you're new to the podcast or we're new friends or we're hanging out, I really try and listen to that inner.
That right there bothers me. And I'll say it again. I always want to point it out whenever I hear it. Like, obviously she says at the end, like, I love you, I'm rooting for you. She said, if we're new friends and this is the first time we're hanging out, it's like, you're not friends, you're not hanging out. This is a one-way conversation. This is you talking about yourself. That is not a friendship. Stop trying to make this like, oh, if this is the first time we're hanging out, like, like, here is the deal. It's like, you're not hanging out. You're reciting something about your own life.
I try and listen to the universe. I try and hear whispers from God and what she wants me to know today. And so when I talk about hearing things or feeling things or sensing them, that's what I'm referring to. And as a side note, I did have a really fun conversation with my 5-year-old daughter the other night at the dinner table, because I said she in reference to God, and Noah got very upset. She said, God is a man. Mommy, God is a boy. Yeah, she didn't say man. She said boy. Mommy, God is a boy. Everybody knows that God is a boy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try my very best to explain this to a 5-year-old. And I was like, you know what, baby, I believe that too when I was your age. And what I understand now is that God is bigger than anything, right? God's bigger than, if you believe in God, right? If you're listening to this and you're someone who believes in God and who has faith, then you know that God is bigger, right? Like, we believe that they created the heavens and the earth, and they've been here since the beginning. They're the Alpha, they are the Omega, all of that stuff, right?
Again, I think this is new information to Rachel. Like, if you were to read Girl Wash Your Face, it's very much like God, the traditional going to church, listening to the preacher who is telling you about Jesus, who is a man in that traditional sense of the Bible teachings. Like, this is all new to her as well. So her explaining this to Noah, like, if Noah was 5 years old 2 years ago, she would have said, God is a boy. And Rachel would be like, yes, honey, of course. Like, that is true. So this is new information as well. Just want to say, because that was not always the case before. And she has to sort of explain where she's coming from. So I can appreciate that. But it's interesting that she's taking this stance. Because again, it's like, who are you appealing to? Because the New Age crowd, you're not on the deep end enough for most of the New Age crowd. You know, they're looking for, and this is my interpretation, I don't know. I think they're looking for a Gabby Bernstein in the spirituality world. Like, they want someone who's channeling, who's like actually been in the lifestyle for a while, who's probably a vegan. Like, those are stereotypes, but that's kind of like what I think and hear in the space when I was doing yoga classes and stuff. Like, Rachel Hollis is too straight-laced even now for that crowd. And then Rachel's cut off her MLM people. She talked about network marketing MLMs probably like 6 or 7 times in Girl Stop Apologizing. And then in the next one, the didn't see that coming, she says, don't be dumb, don't buy a kit where, an MLM kit essentially, that's dumb. So then she backtracked off that. She doesn't speak at MLM conferences anymore, which I'm glad for. I'm supportive of that. I hate MLMs. So I'm all for it. I support, that's like, go Rachel, woo, positivity. Look at me, guys. I'm so positive. But she changes her mind so much that it's like, even in the religion, I'm doing something right now, Kitty. Even with the religion stuff, it's like she's acting kind of like, oh, this is my new, or she's not like, this is her new thing. She's like, oh, this is like, I'm teaching my daughter about this stuff. It's like, you're teaching yourself too at this time. Like, it's like, pretty new information to you as well. This microphone is itching your chin, huh?
But
anyways,
they don't have a gender, right? Like, everybody understands that the gender of God was assigned. And this is me like trying to explain this to a 5-year-old girl who's looking at me like I'm crazy. So I said, you believe, we know that God, made this and God made that and God made us and God's in our hearts and leads us and all those things. And she's like, yeah. And I said, and if they're that big, like, it's almost like, they're a superhero, they're magic. There's something so much bigger than we understand. Then they're not a boy or a girl. And she's sort of like, okay. And I said, so if they're not a boy or a girl, then they can be either. And if they can be either, I think we should call her a she. It's that simple. Glennon Doyle writes about this in Untamed, and I loved her explanation of it. But I think, gender was assigned to God by humans, and it was assigned to God by the humans who were writing those words, and the people who were doing that were men. So, of course, they made God in their image. And there's a great old quote.
Again, what does this have to do with leadership? Like, okay, like, let's get through this part. Like, God is a woman. No, God is a construct. God doesn't have gender. He's like a superhero, just like Batman, genderless. Or I guess Batman's a Superman. Batman's a Superman. Batman is a superhero. I think superheroes have genders, obviously, right? I mean, am I crazy? They seem fairly gendered to me. All right.
About this that says
Whatever.
when you make
What does this have to do with anything?
God man, you make man God. And all of that to say, words have power.
God's gender is Rach. Okay.
So I tried to explain this the other night to Noah at the dinner table, and it's also why I think it matters how you define the way that you want to lead and the word that makes the most sense to you. So the word that I had whispered over me a lot was stewardship.
Wait, what does that mean?
And I really loved it.
Am I missing something? What is being whispered? What word is whispered over her? What does that mean? Is that a religious thing? In Catholic Church, they don't whisper anything. I mean, I guess they whisper everything. So all the words are whispered in Catholic Church. It's very quiet. It's very proper. She's Pentecostal. So is it a Pentecostal thing? I don't know. Or is this like a spirituality thing? I'm missing the words A word that was whispered over her was stewardship. Can someone please explain? Okay.
Idea, because to lead is, you could lead people in a lot of ways, right? You could yell at them, you could just give them directions, you could move forward and they could follow behind you. But the definition of stewardship is to take care of an organization, a group of people, a project, to take care of. And
Thank you, Glenn Doyle. Mutters about Glennon Doyle. Is that you? Is that your book? Glenn Doyle says something. I don't know. Anyways, God's genderless, and we're all screwed. I'm Rachel Hollis. Welcome to my podcast. Thank you very much, Glenn. And for that...
Unfollow me.
Thanks. Just kidding. All right, back to it. Okay, what's been... Did anyone have any answer for what is whispering? When the priest starts whispering, the kids start running. There you go. All right. Funny. You guys make me laugh. Batman's the DJ, Gotham's the dance floor. I can't get over that comment. That was so funny. Okay.
This word so much, to be totally honest with you, because coming out of divorce, there was and still is a very great financial burden that I took on post-divorce. And I support my family, and it's a lot. It's a lot of things that happened post-divorce. And I'd never really found myself in a situation like that before. And I'd never...
Okay, I thought about this one a lot, this part too, about like she's basically trying to, I think she's sort of trying to embarrass Dave in a way by saying like, oh, he doesn't, I had to take on the burden of everybody, and, I support the family and whatever, and I didn't expect that, and this is so new for me. Speaking of someone who doesn't care about gender, or speaks kind of like in this, way about gender, I'm surprised that she would have this take. Oh, I'm not surprised, but, I think she's not thinking straight completely that, as a woman, she was fine no one was really judging her. Actually, people were judging her harshly for working, for trying to be someone who had income. And now that the opposite is happening, so she's actually the breadwinner apparently, he's not making the money. Now she's kind of like saying it in this like, it's very like, I am the one who's now in charge. But no one had a problem with it when he was the one for 20 years bringing in the consistent money. It just doesn't seem fair. Is it because he's a man that he, shouldn't have to, he should be the one to make the money in the family? Like, this is stuff I think about all the time. It's like, when I was growing up, my mom would always say like, if the man doesn't pay, he's an asshole. But if I didn't pay, that's fine, like it doesn't show anything about my character whatsoever. Or like, guys ditch him if he uses a coupon at the restaurant. Like, this is stuff that I felt like was fairly mainstream in my world growing up, and like kind of still is. Like, oh, if a guy doesn't pay for dinner, like screw him. But it's like, is that what we should be saying like in this day and age? Like, women can't and should be annoyed when they're the ones making more money? I don't know. It just seems like she's kind of like, she's just trying to embarrass him in some way. And I don't know. I think there's a deeper conversation to be had here about who's the breadwinner, who should be supporting who. And if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're not working, like, I don't know. There's so much more depth here than where she's getting to. And I just find it interesting, like talking about gender roles and how fluid it is and stuff. But yet in this conversation, it just seems like she's kind of putting him down because he's a man. And so she's like, oh, it's so weird, right? That I'm the one that's to support everybody. If it was a man, it would just be understood. Like, of course, like he's the one that's supporting her. I don't know. Okay, shut up, Kayla. Bye.
Found myself in a situation at that magnitude, and I started to have some fear around, oh my gosh, like, do I know how to do this? And what does this mean? And all of that fear started to bubble up. And so I just kept hearing that word again and again, stewardship. Be a good steward. Be a good steward. And what that means to me is to be a caretaker of what is already in your care. I think sometimes the idea or the aspirational vision of leading is about wanting more. It's wanting more power. It's wanting more influence. It's wanting, there's ego involved. And we don't like to admit that, but it is the case. Sometimes we have leadership thrust upon us and we don't really have a choice, but there are often times that we want to take on a leadership role because that ego part of us is like, we want, what comes with it. And so I love the idea of stewardship because it says, let me take really good care of what is already mine. Let me take really good care of this place that I get to live in. Let me take really good care of the friendships, the relationships that I already have. Let me take really good care and therefore really appreciate what's already in my life. I think this concept is so beautiful, and I really do aspire to live my life more fully in the idea of being a good steward of what I already have. And I think that when you are a good,
it's like, we don't even know what you have, Rachel, because you don't share it with us. Like, if you do, you share it very cryptically. There was she admitted that there was layoffs, but again, she's very proud, and she should be, of the 60 members of her team that had 401ks and were working for her full time. But you got to remember, Hollis Company started in 2018. It is now 2022, and this is wiped from the face of the earth. So it's like, was it a successful company? It's like a company that makes a ton of money really fast and then can't sustain it. Is that a success? Or WeWork. Is that a success or is that not? Is it a one-time success or a short-term success and that is enough for it to be judged as such? Or is it only a success if it's sustainable over a certain period of time? And we could debate whether 10 years or 5 years or 20 years is appropriate to, say that with. But again, we're talking, she's like, I want a good steward. It's like, you only have 2 employees left. So shouldn't we talk about this? Who are you stewarding? I guess she's like, oh, I'm leading myself. But to get so specific about certain things and then just be so vague about others, it's just hard to really glean any sort of knowledge or actual help because you don't know the real situation that's going on. If you were to follow Rachel's advice, you would end up employee lists. It's that, don't follow her advice for her company because look what happened to her.
Steward of what you already have, that's when you are able to manifest more without effort. So I love the idea of taking care of, and your definition of leadership can be very different. How do you want to show up as a leader in the world? I think this is really valuable for those of you who have online communities, whether you've got a YouTube channel, your own podcast, you're building a social following. There's a lot of people who rush to be influencers, but don't really think about which values they want to have influence over. There's a lot of people who...
Welcome, Savvy. We're at the point of the podcast where Rachel is saying that, am I the only influencer who, isn't horrible? Or she doesn't think she's an influencer? I don't know. She's vlogging now, so what else can we call it? She's an influencer.
Who
welcome.
Will sort of obsess over having a certain amount of likes or having a certain amount of followers or creating, an ideal of why people should want to follow them instead of actually living life in a way that's worth following.
This episode is sponsored by CuriosityStream, the streaming service with the best collection of documentary films and TV.
CuriosityStream, yeah. She's got non-read ads. I wonder if she's joined a new podcast company because it says 3% still, but these are pre-recorded ads. I wonder if she's going to join Dear Media. This is my prediction. I wonder if she's going to join Dear Media, which is, is that the one that is under Skinny Confidential? Because they own a podcast group. And I think Gabby Bernstein also is a member of that podcast group. And, they get ads put on the podcasts. But Gabby does do her own ad reads sometimes. I don't know. This is a whole new thing. Maybe she's experimenting with this style of ads. It's interesting.
Now on Curiosity Stream. Get an annual plan.
Happen, and I think it's so wild.
$1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com to sign up today.
I find this really funny, and I think, I mean, obviously we get this so wrong with social media all the time. But I just had this happen, and I think it's so wild, and I know you guys will think this is wild too. I think we have gotten into a really warped mentality of what is worth following. And I don't mean like entertainment and, celebrity, like whatever, live your life. I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what we perceive as true, what we perceive as valuable, or the stories that we make up in our heads about who or what a leader is. And I saw this play out in a really interesting way. I have very intentionally I talk a lot about my boyfriend, who I love very much. I have talked about.
All right, boothing. We need a boothing alert.
My boyfriend, boothing.
Here it comes, guys. The juicy part, literally. Oh, the juicy part, literally. Got to it, finally. Okay, here we go.
A lot, but I have intentionally not really, I don't think I've ever shown a picture of us together.
Bullshit. There's a picture of them skiing.
I intentionally don't say his name.
You tagged him. You tagged his name. Okay, whatever.
I've put him on my Instagram and I've tagged him. And there's some people who are very interested in me on the internet. So
shout out. Okay.
Figured out that we were in a relationship almost before we did, which was pretty crazy. But I haven't really showed that a ton. And it's with intention, because never again in my life will I give something so sacred to the public.
You're already doing it though. That's the thing. It's like you're saying, she says this, like, I will never do that again. She already said that before. Like, I will never give it again. It's like, yeah, well, that makes sense business wise, because you literally, rip people off basically by telling people, oh, Dave and I have the best relationship and we'll teach you how to be like us. Meanwhile, for 5 years, they were struggling, so they say, in their marriage. So, yeah, I think it makes sense. Like, how could you ever share? She shares him more than I think she should already. She has him, my boo things hobby, my boo things tour, my boo things picture, can't like trying to make it all cryptic and like, oh, this is the back of his hair and this is him and he's British and he's in England and his mother and I play Wordle and there's so much information that I know about him. How is any of this sacred? He doesn't ask me questions. He kissed me this way. He grabbed my butt. I met him on Riot. Like, I know every detail. He drank a bottle of champagne. Our anniversary is on this date. He sent me a poem on a mountaintop. He likes my hair. How do I know all this stuff? How is this sacred information? Like, come on. This is not, don't gaslight me. I know gaslighting is a strong word, and I don't mean it really, but like, someone telling you, oh, I never talk about my boyfriend. And then literally I just named 17,000 things that she said about him. And she's showing him in the vlog, like the other vlog we watched. Well, I don't know if you were here, but we watched on a different episode of a live stream. We watched a vlog where they were on a plane together, and you see like up to here. You see down. It's like, is that really keeping him sacred by not showing his head? I see all of his rings. I see his laptop. I see his torso. Like, just by being, it's like weird. It's just weird at this point. It's not better or sacred. It's just wacky. And it makes me feel like he doesn't want to be shared. And he hasn't shared her at all until he posted the thing about the tour. And I think that's what she's about to talk about. Now, And I agree, it is weird. It doesn't seem equal. And it's like, oh, he doesn't do social media. It's like, okay, but you know, still weird. He does have a social media. Okay, anyways, whatever.
Marriage had a lot of things.
And very good point. Caffeinated angel. Very good point. Children's private lives, put it on. Naked kid, put it up there. Yeah. Topless 5-year-olds, yeah, great content to put on Instagram. My boyfriend, a grown man who can make his own choices, yeah, no, that's sacred. Shut up, you know. God, not you, caffeinated angel. Don't you shut up. Rachel, shut up. It's just like, don't tell me something, you know, what do they say? What's the phrase? It's like, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like, that's how I feel. It's like, this is bullshit.
Wrong with it. And unfortunately, more of those have been made apparent to me after the divorce. But we just sort of very organically began to do things together and show things. And obviously we had conferences and we did live streams and we were in pictures and all those things. And it felt very organic to me back in the day. And then it just sort of becomes your way of life. And I refuse to ever do that again. You and I both know that relationships, like your romantic partner, is one of the most sacred, most beautiful, most emotionally charged, difficult, like it's all the things. And it takes so much effort and so much work.
Speaking of the kids versus the significant other, in at least, I believe, Girl Stop Apologizing, if not Girl Wash Your Face, maybe both, she does say her priorities in life are, you know, number one, Dave and their relationship. And I remember her saying that on podcast back in like 2018. Like, you know, she said, I know I'm going to catch flack for this, but, you know, my husband and my relationship is the most important. My kids will grow up and move out, but my relationship with Dave is forever, is the thing that, you know, is going to keep me happy or whatever forever. So her priorities were Dave, then the children underneath. Now, I don't know. I don't have kids. I would imagine my kids would rise to the top if I, you know, had them. But that is her mentality in the past, so possibly it makes sense as to why her kids can be shown on Instagram in any sort of form that she feels fit, but her boyfriend, you know, deserves more respect because she prioritizes romantic relationships over children. That's her choice. I'm not going to say anything about it, but she has expressed that in these books.
To have that thrive. And when you make it public, it's almost like there's a third person in that relationship now. And so just as an intention, I was just like, I'm not going to do that again. And I really only have posted photos when I have, just because this person is very important in my life and I want people to know. And every once in a while, quite honestly, like random guys who have my number, who are like in the business, don't realize that I'm not single, and so they'll hit me up and I'm like, oh Lord, literally, if you've seen a picture of my boyfriend, it's because I'm like, I need to let people know to please leave me alone. That's a whole
I'm sorry. I just don't buy that. The only person I saw was confused about and maybe it was him, but he's married, so I saw Tony Robbins' son made a comment under one of Rachel's photos, and because it was like a photo of a podcast she did with Anna Faris, Yeah, Anna Faris. And it was like, single girl or single expert, you know, whatever the fuck, single lady Rachel Hollis gives advice and whatever. And the son of Tony Robbins said, wait, what happened to Dave? And this was like not that long ago. So, I don't know. It's so funny that like, oh, that's the reason. That's the only reason you share your boyfriend is so that other men in the business get the hint that you're not interested. Is that mature either? Just tell these guys to F off and that it's unprofessional to leave you alone. you're just going to show a picture of your boyfriend to like, again, I said this word 7 times today, 18 stinking times, cryptically tell them you're not interested. It just seems like a child thing to do. I don't know. On the plane, these guys want to hit on her because she's wearing a Nirvana shirt. People are hitting her up to date her. Yeah, it's just, she's so irresistible. Okay.
Their podcast, guys. But on the flip side, my boo very rarely does social media. Like if you look at his Instagram, he posts like once every 6 months. It's not his thing. And it's actually one of the things I love about him. He's very present. He's very much in the world, like with you. He's not he does not care about the perception of what it is. He cares about what it actually is. And I announced tour the other day and I was so excited, and he's seen me.
Just say the tour, my tour. I hate it that it's like tour. We announced tour. Stop trying to make tour happen. The word tour, it's not appropriate for what is going on. Okay, sorry.
Work on this project for like a year, and he's so lovely, and he posted my tour announcement on his Instagram. It was the first time he had posted in like 6 months, and he just like put it up there. And I was on Instagram and it came through my feed.
I don't buy it. I just don't. I mean, well, what do I know? I'm a loser on the internet. But I just don't buy that she didn't ask him, please, can you post this? I'm trying to make ticket sales. And you're a notable music tour guide. People will respect you, or people will see it on your feed. Please, babe, can you help me out? That was my take on it. She's claiming that he just all of a sudden out of nowhere hasn't posted her once, mentioned her one time on any platform that I can see. And then all of a sudden, like, that's the thing he decides to post. I just find it to be, it's like a money-making opportunity just happened. That's the thing that he wants to share because he's so proud. Okay, I ain't buying it, but all right.
Like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, what a sweet thing to do. And I just like hearted it, and I saw all my best friends and my family was like loving on it, whatever. And I happened to see that this person wrote what I believe was her attempt to support me, but wrote such a mean, honestly pretty hateful comment about how long it had taken him to post a picture of me. And it was like, I can't, like, way to finally grow some balls. Or it was so hateful. I was shocked.
It's not that hateful. I don't know. Whatever. I tend to stay away from posting on celebrities, accounts just generally. But also she says I never consume content. I only post it and put it out in the world and just like let it sit there, and I just let it ruminate, and I never check the comments. That's what she always claims. I never look at comments ever, ever, ever. Okay, so all of a sudden she's now looking at comments, and now she's like offended by this person who's actually kind of standing up for her. Weird.
Wrote it. And she was like, she's been talking about you for a year, and like you've barely posted about her. Like it was weird. So mean. And I was like, oh babe, like someone wrote, and he was like, oh my gosh, how crazy. Like, well, I don't care she doesn't even know me. And I was like, well, I really wish that I had that perspective about social media comments. But what I was most amazed by is that we as a society have a perception about our leaders that says, if you show me the right images, then I'm going to think you're a good leader. And y'all,
what?
I know what it feels like to have someone show the right images. And it's not what's happening in real life.
Is it you, Rachel? Because if it's anyone but you also should take a look in the mirror and go, how am I also contributing to this? Like she's going to act here like, I am so unpolished. I just post whatever and I just don't care. It's like, the amount of photos I can, every time I search like Rachel Hollis on Google so I can get a thumbnail picture, the same photos show up, and it's hilarious laughing with Dave from 2 years ago. laughing as if like he has just told the funniest joke of all time. And these pictures were three years ago max. And you're telling me for 5 years, Dave has ruined your life and you've hated his guts and every morsel of, energy. Yet every picture that there was together, in their divorce photo was this. We're getting divorced. Like, that's not fake. That's not bullshit that you were peddling for years. Oh, that's other people. Come on. Let's get real here.
So I just thought, wow, this is a really interesting dichotomy. I honestly, I was going to comment and then I was like, no, I don't want to because I think she's actually trying to be supportive, like sisters before misters vibe. I almost commented and said like, oh, you'll have to forgive him. He's been so busy giving me multiple orgasms that he hasn't had time to post. But then I thought,
I can't. I will never financially recover from this. It's so bad. Wasn't that bitchy? She's like, oh, what a hateful comment someone said. She's been posting you for a year. How dare you not post her till now? And then I said, he's too busy giving me multiple orgasms. I can't. It's too much. My virginal ears cannot take it. That was crossing the line for me. I'm sorry. Come on. What? Stop. Ew. I thought this was a sacred relationship that you'll never share again. Why do I know any of this? First of all, I don't buy it. Second of all, this is the second person you've ever been with. So like, come on. Oh, so she's like, oh, it's so great. The sex is so great. It was also so great with Dave that you were doing it so much that you were howling with whatever, joy, choosing orgasms. I don't know. It's like, I ain't buying this. Ugh. Sorry, everybody. Ugh. Okay, sorry. Oh, God. Ugh. That's the comeback? Because someone's defending you and saying, like, this guy should probably, like, be more outwardly interested in this relationship than you are because you talk about him every 5 seconds. I feel like that's kind of nice to her. That's the response. I'm sorry. Gross. Come on. It's just like it's like a teenager. Like, well, your boyfriend kissed me behind the bleachers sophomore year. So I guess, like, maybe he was texting me about that. It's like, ugh. Okay, sorry.
Inappropriate. Sorry. So I'm just telling you guys because there you go.
Yeah, this is, okay, great point, Jube. Where are you? She literally bitched for like 30 straight minutes about how inappropriate it was for someone to watch a movie with a sex scene on a plane in their private, like, TV screening area or on an iPad in their own space on a plane. She was so offended that Mima might see something, yet she's gonna make a comment like that. It's like, what? I'm so confused. Like, again, going back to the book, in Girl Wash Your Face, she talks about, there's a whole chapter about how she didn't want to put sex in her book, in her fictional book, Party Girl or whatever it's called, the Party Girl series, the Girl series, because it wasn't true to her Christian beliefs. She didn't want to put sex in it because that was not her style. Yet the book that she's currently writing, that I'm reading, where she's giving that account, 2 chapters later, she's like, so I was bad at sex, and then me and Dave banged every day of September, and now our relationship's so great. It's like, so is it a value of yours or is it not? Because now you're talking about your own sex life. So are you, like, what is it? I don't know. It's just, again, like, this is a sacred relationship. He's giving me multiple orgasms. It's like, which is it? You just contradict yourself every 5 seconds. Ugh. Okay.
But I just thought, wow, we really have a warped perception. And I don't know how to fix the perception of the world, and maybe that won't ever change. Maybe we will always believe that if someone has the right glossy enough, filtered enough, special enough, posed enough photo, then that's a representation of who they are as a person. But what I know to be true about how I want to lead is by example.
The only reason she doesn't post, well, first of all, she does post. She just had a whole ass photo shoot in LA where she's like fake laughing and jumping in the air, like, you know, dancing around for a camera. So, okay, that's not true. And secondly, the only reason she doesn't post more of that is because she got canceled because she called herself Harriet Tubman. No other reason, no other like discernment that she has made. Like, you know, I'm at the peak of my success, but I want to lead from a place of, you know, stewardship. And I think I want to be more relatable. So I'm going to like make a change. No, that's how she's presenting it. In reality, she had no choice because people were hating on her comment or on her pictures so hard that she was forced to take a hiatus because she probably couldn't deal with it anymore. That's what happened. Okay, sorry. I'm talking a lot. All right, back.
I am never going to have a social media presence or I'm using air quotes, you can't see me, or a brand that's perfectly polished because I'm not perfectly polished. I'm so flawed. And I've been really open about how often I've messed up.
No, she hasn't. That's another lie. She has not been open about how flawed she is, other than like, I used to, you know, not take my kids to school every day. God, I feel so good to admit that. It's like, it's that curated imperfection, that curated authenticity, that the real shit that's going on that she should probably have a little bit of apprehension about sharing with strangers because that's how the world works, that we shouldn't just tell all of our baggage to everyone at all times. She doesn't share that. She picks certain things that make her still look good, and if anything, make her look better because she's admitting that, oh my God, guys, I had a pimple last week. Guys, I need to put, under eye makeup under my eyes. I have to put this jade roller egg thing on because I too, mere mortal, get, tired as well. It's like, that's not how flawed you are. Everyone knows that you're not perfect. That's not you being authentically, yourself. That's you curating an image that's like, well, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to damn try hard to be. It's like, okay, I don't know.
Publicly. And I keep trying. And I keep trying because those are the leaders that I admire. The people that say like, man, I don't have this, but I will keep showing up for those things that are within my care, that I am a steward of. I am trying to be a good steward. And it matters to me. And I hope as members of this community, it matters to you how we lead. It matters that we show with our actions. It matters that you live every part of your life in a way that's in alignment. It matters that you practice what you preach. It matters that what you put out in the world is a match to what is happening inside your heart and your home. And if it's not, then it doesn't mean that you're a piece of crap, but it does mean that you probably need to pull things back inside and do what is in alignment with who you are. Because I think that's how we grow and become better. I never knew any other way as a leader, as a boss, like going back to the very beginning, than just saying like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I did not know that. Or I'm so sorry I screwed up. Or I'm so sorry I've never had to give feedback to a coworker before and I feel a little nervous. So I'm going to ask you to forgive me for if I, fumble and get this message wrong.
Rachel, did you write a book called Girl Stop Apologizing? Or did you write a book called Girl, Please Forgive Me for What I'm About to Ask You in the Workplace? This messaging is confusing. Oh God. Taro, you look scary. Why do you look so scary? You want to say something? Oh, say something. Say hello. Say something else. She's so purry. She's such a purry girl. Yeah.
That's just a pretty girl. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, back to Rachel. Sorry. I got distracted by per time.
There's a humanness in that. I think that when we believe that we have to be this sort of idealized leader, that's when we get ourselves into trouble. A steward doesn't tell people that they have it all figured out. They tell people that they care.
All right, for 1 second, let me just address this comment. Whatever, I already addressed this in the beginning, that I think about it all the time. I chose to continue to do it. It's like, first of all, I don't care if that she's another woman. I can criticize a man just as well as I can criticize a woman. So I think that's on you for making a distinction like, oh, a woman can't criticize another woman. Like, that's stupid. And secondly, I've never once called anyone pathetic, I don't think. Mark me if I'm wrong, but like, I think you're being a little mean. And I'm also not someone who's giving out life advice. So just wanted to say, fuck off, basically. Excuse my French, but I really don't care about your opinion. And I know your account because I've seen it on Rachel's, on her own YouTube. And you seem to be a super fan. So I hope you have fun following Rachel across the country. And good riddance. Goodbye. Now, I'm not going to delete anything. You can keep commenting. I'm just addressing it that I don't care. Okay, continue.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I also really wanted to touch on the subject of servant leadership because that was a core in the Hollis Co., the business that I built with my ex-husband that got, so big and was so much. And that was a core value of ours. And that was this description that I had always loved. And I realize in retrospect, I had heard that description most from men. And most often it was men, it was sort of growing up in a church environment, or I heard it from organizations that maybe had some, faith-based background. And so I heard this idea of servant leadership a lot, and I loved it. I loved the idea. But if I'm honest, I feel like in retrospect, servant leadership can almost be a little bit dangerous for women who were raised to be people pleasers. So servant leadership is this idea that you are of service to those on your team, to your children, to all of those things. And I think that most women, I'm not going to say all women, but I think that most women and lots of men might do that naturally. And so when you add on the label of, and you also have to be a servant leader, at least in my experience, some lines get crossed or some boundaries get crossed, or you almost, I'm not even going to say you, I'm going to say me. I have felt like at times that I have experienced extreme burnout. I have run myself into the ground. I have done things like abused my body by pushing too hard, by pushing too much, because I was being, I'm using air quotes, like a servant leader, because it was my job to.
I don't think that's what it's supposed to mean, though. Like, servant leadership is supposed to mean that the customer comes first, that your goals and well, this is my interpretation, is that the people you're creating products for, that you're making content for, comes first before your ego, before, wanting monetary success for yourself and for the stock, not stockbrokers, but the shareholders. That's what I understand. Servant leadership is like you serving the customer first, like whatever product you're making that the most important thing. Not that you're supposed to dedicate your entire life and well-being and health to the business. That's not my interpretation of servant. I think she's kind of interchanging the word and kind of just making it seem like that's what servant leadership is, because that's what she did. Excuse me. And she's about to talk about that she needs to set boundaries with her team. I find that to be a very odd wording, because it's like, shouldn't the team be setting boundaries with you? Like, why are you letting your team tell you what you have to show up for? Shouldn't you be the one setting the goals and the priorities? It just seems like off balance. And she's like, I had to stand up for myself and like, you know, fight back against my team. It's like, but why? Like, why don't you have the final say? But anyways, I'm trying to be, I'm seeing this person again. I'm trying to be, I don't want to delete anything because it's like, I'm nothing to hide. But if it gets to be too much, it's like, I'll just ban for this person. Because it just doesn't seem like it's totally stable comments. So, you know, don't want it to get out of control.
Service to my team. And just so we're clear, I don't actually think that that's what people mean by that word. I don't think that when, you know, the Ramsey organization is talking about servant leadership, I don't think that they mean it the way I was practicing it, which is why I'm mentioning it. I think it can be a really beautiful ideal, especially if you're someone who knows that maybe you need to keep a little bit of your ego in check and that you can get a little bit too full of yourself. I think that when you have, like me, been raised to be a people pleaser or been raised to take care of others or been raised to put others in front of yourself, that can be a bit dangerous because, yeah, it's just the lines get warped. And it's not even necessarily people coming up to me like the evil character in an old silent film, like twisting the edges of his mustache, being like, push harder, go more. But it inevitably became that because it would be like, well, can you just do this? Could you add that on? Hey, we know you're already on the road for 4 days this week, but we really have to have this video shoot on Friday or our editors aren't going to be. And I would just say, yes, 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 yes. I said yes for, 18 months and was so depleted. And thank God for the slowness of those months during 2020. Not thank God for everything that happened. Like the pandemic was and still is horrific.
Yeah, the Dave Ramsey comment kind of shocked me a little bit because she's gone so far away from the Christian ideals. I think it was Girl Stop Apologizing. She actually in the end of the book, she says like, I love Tony Robbins, Beyonce, Oprah, and Dave Ramsey. I was like, when the fuck did they become like, not that they are friends. I don't think they know each other, but like she was very inspired by Dave Ramsey. I was like, oh, I never heard that before. So then for her to bring it, I just had thought about that because I just reread the book and then like she's bringing him up again and I was like, oh. And then she was supposed to have the guy who got fired from the Ramsey Corporation, Chris Hogan, at her last Rise last year. And he didn't end up coming and they didn't really address it. They didn't say like what happened, I don't think. He was on the schedule one day, the next day he was not on the schedule. So it's weird. I was not expecting her to talk about Dave Ramsey, especially after, God is a woman. I think she would be fired if she worked for Dave Ramsey and said God is a woman. I think that would not be part of his purity policy or whatever he's got going on over there. Dave Ramsey is someone we'll have to cover at some point in the near future. I have it on my list on my Patreon page. If you are not a hater of me, like some people that have been tonight, it's fine. Honestly, it's fine. I appreciate everyone's support. And if the person becomes a problem, like I'll take care of it. But, I don't want to stifle or silence anybody from expressing themselves because that's obviously not what I'm about. So if you want to express that you hate me or whatever, like that's fine. But like, just don't bother the flow of the chat because this chat is very sacred to me. So, and tarot. So, we want it to be cool vibes. Cool peeps only, so don't ruin that. Anyways, okay, so back to Rachel, Dave Ramsey fan.
But I do believe that even in the hardest seasons, we can find goodness. And the goodness for me was getting to slow down long enough.
I was going to say Patreon. On Patreon, every week, basically, I've been trying to put up a poll, at least recently, and putting different gurus and different topics and voting. And whoever whichever person, whichever thing gets voted on the highest, will be the next video covered. So if you want to have a little bit more leverage with the content on this channel and you like want to really hear about someone specifically, Patreon is a way to get in the door and have that vote counted. That's what I was going to say. All right, back to Rachel.
Understand how many boundaries I was letting be crossed by my team and just by the structure of like, well, I've got to be a good servant to this team. And so that means I should, destroy myself in the process. So I just wanted to mention that one as you think about what kind of leader you want to be. I think there are so many incredible books on this topic. John Maxwell is a dear friend and mentor of mine, and he's sort of the godfather of conversations about leadership. And I think there are people who are evolving that conversation. Simon Sinek has talked about it. There's lots of...
Do you ever find it weird that Rachel always cites men? Like, unless it's Oprah or Beyonce, it's usually other men. It's men that she likes to talk about. Tony Robbins all the time, quoting him. Dave Ramsey, John Maxwell. And it was interesting too, and Girl Wash Your Face, she had a lot of women that reviewed and like gave it, whatever, the seal of approval. Oh, thank you, Juby says, Juby says, appreciate your live streams and I will slowly buy you a boat. Well, for that, let's see what Dave has to say. I don't know if I have anything that could be related to that.
I will slowly buy you a boat.
Oh, I do. At the ready. And Dave just wanted to remind us, even though he's back on Instagram.
Turns out you can have a full life without putting it all on social media.
Who knew? Who knew? Thank you so much, Jube. I appreciate it. But in Girl Stop Apologizing, her second book, she has more men giving it the 5-star review than women. And I think that's so odd. Literally with the title, Girl, Do Something, that she would have more men reviewing it. And she said in a recent podcast that she's a guy's gal, that she likes to drink, what did she say? She likes to drink like rye or something and hit golf balls or something. I don't know where that came from. But it just seems, I don't know if internal misogyny is the word. I kind of find that to be like confusing as a concept, but that she doesn't think, she's like, I will have women empowerment, yet every time I bring someone up, it's a man, or, I'm going to not really read women's work as much as it seems like she reads women's work, but it's like usually on the spiritual weirdo side, like women channelers or women energy healers, but the men are the leadership business people. You know what I mean? Or like she's going to talk to a nutritionist or someone who's, doing diet stuff as a woman, it's fine. But then if you're like entrepreneurship, she's going to talk to a man. That's just, maybe that's not accurate, but that's kind of the vibe that I get.
Incredible female executives who have written books about it. I think that there's power in sort of exploring a bunch of different perspectives to decide what yours is. And right now in my life, this idea of stewardship is really beautiful. But y'all, I don't know, 10 years from now, I might have a totally different answer for you. I hope I do. I hope that my views on everything keep changing and getting better and getting more full and whole and centered. But for right now, stewardship is where I'm sticking to. And I also thought this was a powerful one to mention because the way that I do business is very different than it used to be.
It's easy to fall into the trap of endless swiping, but does that really lead people
Hello? Has someone infiltrated?
Real love, relationship.
There needs to be like a little transition
So
music
if
or
you're
something.
ready to find love,
It well.
Seems way too similar.
If you ever hear me talking on podcasts about something, you're like, oh, go deeper on that, or I didn't understand this, please call the hotline. I get so many DMs on Instagram that it's very hard for me. I do get in there and answer some, but there's just too many. But the hotline, we hear them all. So if you've got a question in the show notes, I want you to head over and call the hotline and ask me the question, and maybe we'll turn it into an episode. But in any event, we do business very differently now than we used to. And the mentality with the team coming outside of COVID is really, everyone works remotely. We don't have an office. We do get together, I don't know, I would say every couple weeks, either for a group meeting, we'll go grab coffee, or we'll end up having a shoot that we're all together for, and we'll kind of combine things. So I see the
All
team
three
pretty
of us.
regularly. We obviously do Zoom calls and Slack and the whole deal. We feel very connected, but we really function in a get your work done. That's how we function. At my company, it's get your work done. And sometimes, like when we have a big launch, leading into the launch of announcing cities for the tour this fall, that was huge. That took every hand on deck. Everybody worked on it. And almost everyone on the team was present that whole weekend getting ready to do that thing. And that meant a lot of work, right? Everyone was like working, hustling, doing all that they could that week before. But most of the time, I could not tell you if Jack is editing videos at 2 a.m. or 3 p.m. I have no idea. And frankly, I don't care. Everyone on my team has results that they are turning in, not time.
Oh, sorry.
So frankly, I could have people on my team that are actually working 4 hours a week, and I'd be pumped for them. Congratulations. Like, I hope you're accomplished.
I'm a steward. This is such a good, you remember all the good stuff. I'm a steward of leadership. I just really support my team and making sure they're productive. And if they have to get coffee for us during a shoot, then they're considered the coffee bitch. That could definitely be like a lawsuit against her. Like if an employee got fired for some reason, and then they could be like, I was called coffee bitch when I was working my assistant job. And I feel very degraded by that. Like I think they would probably have somewhat of a case, or at least like threaten to take it to court. Because I feel like that's workplace harassment, borderline at the very least. Oh, it's cool. We're a cool environment. It's like, are we a cool environment, or is that just not appropriate in the workplace? Yeah. And do they all meet up? Do they still have to wear brunch outfits? Because it seemed like it was one woman and Jack. So what is Jack supposed to wear? Does he have a different dress code because he's a male? I don't think he's going to girlfriend brunch, but maybe he is. Who knows? Whatever. I don't know.
All your things in that amount of time. Go lay on the beach. Go run by the lake. Go live your life. Because that was one of the gifts that came out of the pandemic, was understanding we're not aiming for like you living your life working. We're aiming for you living your life. And this work should support your ability to do that. But how can we do that in a way that feels really good? Frankly, I don't want to be working 8 hours a day. Right now, it feels a little intense. It feels like I'm working a ton, probably because I'm working at home in the summertime with all 4 of my kids here and no help. So every 4 minutes, someone comes in and asks me to make them a grilled cheese, or tells me that their sister's bugging them or whatever. So I feel like I'm filling up most of the day. But typically, if I'm in Austin and the kids are in school, I probably work 3 hours a day. Maybe. Because we figured it out.
I mean, I ain't gonna hate on it. That's my dream scenario. Like that's actually my dream job, is working 3 hours a day and making $1 million and having an oceanfront Hawaiian property. Yeah, that sounds pretty perfect. I think the team makes sense. Yeah, like don't force your team just to sit at their computer and just Google shit all day, watch YouTube videos. Like give them autonomy. I'm all for this. This sounds much more reasonable and better than what she was talking about, the last time we discussed the workplace and all the arbitrary rules that she was like, wait a year before you ask me, don't make a PowerPoint, it's too many slides, you must wear brunch clothes, you must participate in the dances. Like, it was like very rudimentary rules. Like, these are the way to play politics all day. And, don't talk in a meeting unless you have something to contribute. That's like very important. Or it's just like, whoa, like this seems like a lot of things to remember. This seems much more reasonable. So I guess she had an epiphany in the last week. I don't know.
That's also why I think the stewardship idea works really well, because I want to care and love for the people who are on my team, but I'm not trying to Let me explain that a little bit better. This is not going to work for everyone.
You explained it, Rachel. I think we get the concept of most people don't want to get up at 4 a.m. Most people don't want to kill themselves to, make sure your dreams come true. I think that's a very well-known thing, especially now in today's world, that's basic. I don't think the pandemic it definitely brought it out more. But I think, that's been something millennials, I think, have been fighting for since we got into the workforce, was like, we don't want to work and kill ourselves and slave over a desk for nothing. Like to say, oh, I've worked here for 20 years, because we watched our parents do that and be miserable. So I don't know. She's like, this concept is crazy. It's like, no, it's not really. It's pretty typical these days that, it's a competitive market. You got to get people who are good and offer them something, that resembles work-life balance.
Thinking of my friend Tom or my friend Russell, like I'm laughing, imagining
Russell Brunson, who's the guy who created ClickFunnels, and Tom Bilyeu, who works, in his own admission, 100 and something hours a week plus. Yeah, that's like the two most extreme cases probably in the world of like overworkers for no reason, overcompensation, and leading to overworking. And again, two more men in the business space. There's no women at all in any of these scenarios that you could bring up. Okay, whatever.
I'm saying that they don't care when and how their employees work, because everybody has different things. And honestly, if you own a coffee shop or a bakery or a grocery store or a gas station or a million other businesses that require people to be there, you don't have that luxury. I understand. I'm in a business that affords us the opportunity to surround ourselves with the kind of people that we are. And I am the kind of person who wants to be able to live a really good life. And to live a really good life does not mean working 8 hours a day. It used to. Back in the day, I used to think I had to work 10 or 12 hours a day in order for me to be doing a good job. Now I understand that, honestly, you want to talk about leadership? Leading others with what really matters. What really matters to me is not ever getting burnt out again. What really matters is being centered and being grounded and living my...
Then why are you going on a tour across the country, like back to back to back to back? Basically, like what, 2 weeks straight? That's going to lead to burnout. No. Why do it? Why don't you just keep doing your podcast and just chilling, man? I think because she's trying to prove herself. She's trying to prove to her boyfriend that she can do tour too. I could tour too. I could totally tour too. I could totally tour too. Says.
Life in a way that fully manages and overcomes anxiety. I don't want to ever have another anxiety attack again. I don't ever want to experience crazy hormonal mood swings again. And I have to really take care of my health in order for those things to be true. And I'm working with a team of people who have their own version of that. And if I'm telling them that loving yourself and values and personal health and emotional health, if I'm telling them that matters, but them not showing them with my actions, it's the same as those people who put the really pretty picture on Instagram when on the inside, they're a really ugly person.
I feel like she's talking to herself. Not that she's an ugly person on the inside necessarily, but she's not the person she portrays to. And she said that. She's like, you guys don't know the real me. You guys don't know me. Everyone just created this version of who they think I am. It's like, okay, so isn't that you then? The person you're describing, the person who puts the perfect photo, the divorce announcement like this. We're choosing joy. Isn't that you? I don't know if she doesn't see it or she just wants to like deflect, or it's one of those projection things where it's like, it's so obviously you who you're talking about, but you can't see it because you're so far up your own ass. Like, I don't know. I don't know with her. I can't tell. I don't know if it's calculated or if it's like completely like internalized so deeply that she just does not see that it is her who she's describing right now. The perfect marriage, even with all the imperfections, like, oh, you know, we struggle to communicate sometimes, but we're better than ever. Like, that was always the story I heard. She's like, I was honest about my marriage. It's like, you might have been, but you made it seem optimistic all the time. You were working on things. You were trying to improve, that, you know, you were so happy that he was making the changes that you needed, and that, you know, it was always like positive direction. It was never like, we're headed for disaster, everybody, so buckle up, you know, we're going to see if this is going to work. It was never that, ever. So if she tells you otherwise, it's a lie.
And you and I all know those people. So let's not be them. In our leadership, in our lives, like, let's be the people that know who we want to be and go out in the world and live it. I want to be the person that's kind and friendly and loving to everyone. And that means if I'm interacting with you in a coffee shop, or you're helping me bag the groceries, or I'm working with you at the bank, like, I really believe that most people don't know who I am or what I do, but that if you were just like, if I walked away from someone that I had just been interacting with, if I walked away from that barista and you're like, hey, how was that customer? I really hope to God that they would be like, oh, she is the best. She comes in here every day. She's so joyful. She's so kind. She tips 100%. She's the best.
Isn't it a little self-involved? Like, I want to make sure that people at Starbucks, you know, think I'm the best customer. It's like, who cares? Just be nice. You don't have to make a whole thing about it. Like, that's great. I'm glad that you're not going to scream at them, you know, like they get treated by other people, you know, about their lattes and whatever. But like, does it have to be this whole production where the person goes, this is the best customer ever? She's so perfect. What is the point of that? It's just like, treat people with respect because that's the right thing to do. Even if the person behind the counter, first of all, probably does not give a shit at all what you're doing because they're working at a, you know, low wage job. They're probably just trying to make it and thinking about like, oh my God, what am I going to do at school tomorrow? What are my kids doing at home? They don't probably care about you, Rachel. No offense, but like, they probably don't care about your presence whatsoever. The Starbucks Corporation, Howard Schultz probably cares that you had a good experience, but the person behind the counter, you know, doesn't want to get in trouble, and they probably just don't care either way. They're probably neutral about, okay, customer experience, I would imagine. It's also like, even if the person behind the counter, the barista or the bagger at the grocery store, hated her guts, you should still treat that person nicely because that's the person you say you want to be. So even if they're mean to you or they're having a bad day, like, it doesn't matter that they respond like, oh, she's the best customer. I think that's what it's for, the glory of, oh, I'm the best. I'm the nicest. Am I the only nice employee? Am I the only nice customer at this store ever? And the fact that she's using it to describe like, oh, this is me. Like, I'm just talking about this as a podcast. Like, this is monetized. We've listened to 3 ads already. This is monetized content. So the fact that you're talking about how amazing you are as a customer at a business, that's your business, which is so weird because you are making money from being a good person, claiming to be a good person at least. So it's like, is it even altruistic at all? I don't know. You're making money from talking about it right now, so perhaps not? Question mark.
I want to be that in every part of my life, not just the parts that are fancy, not just the big business meeting, not just, you know, the board meeting where everyone's looking at you. Let's be that in every part of our life. That being said, the most important thing that you can do as a leader, there's nothing more important than this. You must be able to lead yourself first. Lots of people fake this.
But not me.
They're out of control.
Because I am the best customer and the best boss. World's greatest boss.
They're a mess. They can't keep any of the promises they make to themselves. And meanwhile, they're trying to lead a team of people. And there is a cognitive dissonance between how they are attempting to show up and who they actually are.
Rachel, this is you again. This is you, not people that you know. This is you. Maybe she is aware. Maybe she's aware, and this is just her way of like admitting it without admitting it fully. Because this is like too on the nose, like too close to, come on. This is what we've been saying for the last 2 years. Since a year. Since like the Toiletgate happened. Like, this is all the reasons that came out after I started like looking into her and reading about her again and like kind of getting associated. Like this, she's got it. She's got it. She just doesn't see that she is the one that needs to change, in my opinion.
And again, if you take a real cold, hard look at yourself, which is freaking brutal, by the way, it sucks to have to be honest with yourself about like, yep, that's still messed up. Yep, I'm still triggered by this. Yep, I'm still doing that dumb thing. Yeah, it sucks, but you are never going to get better if you...
It's like Rach, this is Rach pep talking Rach. It's like, this is the things that she wants to hear. And we're just here consuming it as like a secondary source. Like this podcast is for her to hear. This is her spirit guides working through her so she can listen back, because the only person she'll listen to is herself. Damn. Maybe that's why she's doing this, because she won't listen to anyone but her own voice. So now her brain has decided like, okay, let's podcast about all of our problems so that maybe we can hear it. Yikes.
Don't notice it. I was having, I told you guys, if you listened to the podcast on Tuesday, I was talking about, I had a really hard week last week. Hormones were whacked and I was really stressing about it because as a personal thing, I am very triggered by feeling like I'm going backwards. I have zero problem with acknowledging that I am living life in the wrong way or doing something wrong or I need to grow. I don't struggle with that.
You struggle with it publicly because you blame your team and say that, everyone was dogpiling on you and that was the real problem, not that you've made mistakes. You've made mistakes, but like very minimal ones, and it was just really taken out of context, and people shouldn't get so mad. So
struggle with, it's been 6 months and I started doing that thing again. That really hurts my heart. And so I was having a hard week and I was feeling really frustrated because I worked so hard on balancing my hormones and I couldn't figure out why they were so whacked out. I eventually did. If you listen to Tuesday's episode, but
so I listened to it. So she said she whacked out her hormones because she did the workout with her sons. The marathon apparently didn't do that because she said she asked the hormone doctor why she was struggling this month over other months. And she said that the doctor said you shouldn't, overwork your muscles because if you this is what she said. And I was like, what? This is not medically sound, I don't think. But she said, when you work your muscles use hormones that you only have a certain amount of hormones or something. And then if you work out your muscles too much, too close to your period, you don't have enough hormones. Then you start to get angry. I was like, what? I've never heard that before. That's a new one. But yeah, she can run a whole marathon with no training. That's fine. The muscles didn't care then. They only care because she did a workout with her sons. It just seems like another excuse. Like, that's the reason? Or are you stressed because you're afraid that these tickets aren't going to sell and that's a very real possibility and you're going to have to answer to your team, or your revenue is going down. You're hoping this is going to right the ship. And it's not really a great move, in my opinion, because there's a lot of risk involved. Is that causing you stress? Because that makes more sense than, I worked out too hard. My hormones, just whatever. It's like, okay, it's a stretch.
I was talking to my boyfriend about this, and I was just like, I'm so frustrated that I'm like doing this again. And he was like, oh, baby, like, there was a time where you were in this and you couldn't even notice it when it was happening. He's like, you are a miracle. You are a wonder. Like, just the fact that you are paying such attention to this process that you know the moment that your body is struggling and that you can try and take steps to support it. He's like, baby, you have never had that ever in your life. You have the awareness. Having the awareness is huge, and you need to give yourself credit for that. So if you...
Then he said, baby, I love you so much. My curly hair is making me love you even more. Baby. My sacred bond with my boyfriend. I will never again share any details about him. So then he said, baby. 20 minutes later.
Find yourself as a leader and you feel like you're not practicing what you preach, it doesn't mean that you need to hold shame about that and let that shame debilitate you.
True.
Your guilt will not fix anything.
True.
But you could start by saying, okay, what's one thing? What is one thing that I can do to take a step closer to who I say that I am? One thing. Honestly, you know your team, you know your people, you know your...
Who this is something like Heidi would say, who I say that I am. It's like, why don't you just be who you are? Why do you have to be the person that you say that you are? Why don't you just be who you are? Just that's it. Like, there's no effort. Like, I think it gets wrapped up in this dream planning, this dream catching that, you know, it's not even just Rachel, it's the self-help industry at large. You know, you gotta have these dreams. Like, I'm gonna be in the perfect relationship. I'm gonna have the dream job. I'm gonna make $1 million next year. I'm gonna do this. And of course, like, those dreams are so large and it's probably unattainable from wherever you're starting from in a lot of ways, that you have to change who you are to get there. If you're not a person who works 12, 15 hours a day, now all of a sudden you have to become that person to accomplish the goal. It's like always striving to be different, to be better, to be a different version of yourself. Just be yourself and then figure out what you like. How about that? I don't like the wording. It's like who you say you are. It's like, just be who you are. Like, we're all figuring it out. I don't know who I am. I don't know who the fuck I am. I'm working and trying it every day. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Should I feel bad about that? Like, I'm telling my friends, like, I don't know what I am. This is what I am today. Please support me unless I need to be not supported, and then tell me, and then how I can improve. But it's like, it's all this like, oh, like, I want to be a mogul, so I'm going to put it on my wrist so it comes true. It's like, just be yourself.
Kids. Because allowing them to see you try and take that step, even if they see you struggle or stumble or fall and need to get back up, is hugely powerful in terms of inspiration. You know, like, there's all those videos, right? Like, the Olympics come around, Summer Olympics, and they have all these videos of the fastest runners in the world, and they're running the races and crossing the finish lines, and those are amazing. But the videos that make me bawl my eyeballs out are the ones where someone falls. Like, did you ever see that? Oh God, it's so good. There's like this old video, I think it's like Visa, and it's voiced by Morgan Freeman, and it's this guy who's running a race, and right after it's a sprint, right after the gun goes off and he starts running, he pulls like a hamstring and he just crumbles to the ground. And he's out of the race. Like, 1 million people, they've all passed him. They're across the finish line. And he's laying on the ground sobbing. And Morgan Freeman in his amazing voice is like, you know, John Smith, I don't know the guy's name. John Smith trained for 4 years to go to the blah, blah, blah Olympics. And John Smith is ready. And John Smith, and he's like, and John Smith didn't win a medal at the race that day. And the whole time Morgan Freeman's talking and this kid's laying on the ground sobbing, you see this older man running down from the stands. And this old man hops the stands and runs onto the field. And you realize it's this kid's dad. Oh, I'm going to cry right now telling you the story. And he helps this kid stand up, and the kid is bawling. Please go find it.
She's only going to cry because she loves Visa so much. Okay, I'm sorry. That was my joke.
It's amazing. And he's bawling, and the dad puts the kid's arm around his shoulder, and the kid's limping. And Morgan Freeman's like, John Smith did not win an Olympic medal that day, but John Smith and his father did finish. And it shows the dad help this kid limp across the finish line while they're both crying.
I think we're missing an element to this story because it's I don't know. Doesn't seem. I was like, oh, they did finish. Okay, what is that visa? Like, all right. I don't get the sadness. Like, someone helped this son. The shutter. What?
Freaking story, you guys.
Man,
I don't know
helps
about you,
son?
but I'm not inspired by just seeing someone nail it flawlessly. I'm inspired by the people who find a way to keep going, who show us their flaws, who stand up and try again. And I think that if you recognize in your own life that there's some work you need to do to be in closer alignment with the leader or the steward or the teacher or the pastor or the boss or the mother, sister, friend that you want to be, I don't think there's shame in that. I think there's beauty. Most people will go through their entire lives and never have an honest conversation about how they could get better. But you're here and you're listening to this and you're taking it in, and that means something. So you must lead yourself first.
Hello, Discover here to explain our...
Damn. She should have said Discover Card. It was like Discover Card or something. At least there was some audio differentiation in that one. Yeah, that was not a good retelling of that. I don't know what the story is, but I did not glean any sort of life lesson from it. It's like, oh, a man helped the guy complete the race. Okay. Is that leadership or is that like someone being nice?
Back one more.
Okay.
To
all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
3 things that I think of when it comes to leadership that you, at least I think, we need to have. The first thing is vision. A leader has to have vision. They have to know.
What if it's the blind association president? Okay, I'm sorry. It's getting to the point where I'm trying to make stupid jokes about the words. Okay, sorry.
Where they're going, right? If I'm a steward of this team, if I care about this team at work, if I care about, obviously, my children and my family, I have to know where we're going. And what that looks like for our family is knowing.
It's like the vision Rachel had, though, 2 years ago, because we watched the town hall that her and Dave threw for the company. It was make the Rise app a $1 billion app. That failed. And get on Quibi. That failed. Okay, so the vision sucked. So now what? You screwed up the vision. Now what? Now it's go talk about your life on different stages in Detroit and Columbus, Ohio. Like, okay, but is that like, that's not the vision you had 4 years ago. So what's the point of having a vision?
Who I want us to be. Not who I want us to be as like, I want that kid to be a doctor or a lawyer, because that is not how my mind works at all. But who I want my children to be as humans, the compassion I want them to have, the hearts I want them to have, the care, the freedom I want them to have. Like, I have to know what it is I want.
Most people won't get up at 3 a.m. Most people won't quote Visa commercials in their podcasts. Very poorly. Most people won't remember the bare minimum of any story I'm retelling. Most people won't do that. But I will.
To
not
pass on or to grow up in them, or I can't lead them anywhere. So I'm curious, if you're listening to this, whoever it is that you're leading, even if it's leading yourself, Have you sat down and written the vision of what you're doing?
No.
It's shocking to me how few people actually bring intentionality into something as important as leading other humans. This is a thing that I've experienced a lot as the leader of a business. When our teams would get bigger and bigger, you'd have people, especially younger people, and I get this because I used to be this person, who wanted so badly to get to the level of manager. They wanted to be a manager. You'd have, young people in 24, 25 who want to be a manager. And
what's the problem with that?
There's a big difference. It's like just a massive difference.
I will say though, when I was 25, I was 26 and I was a manager. But the problem was the place I was at, my team was much older and there was only one person I was the youngest on the team and I was the manager of the team. And it was bad because I wanted to do it, but they had worked there for longer than I'd been alive. So some of them, the people on my team, my coworkers, but at one point, I became their manager. And it was also because I was internal candidate that got pushed up to manager. And, I had started off my career there at a very low entry level position. And because we had a reorg and I went for it, I girl bossed and pitched my deck and said, this is why I should be the manager. And they gave it to me. But I was stupid because, that place was going down like a sinking ship and I didn't know it at the time. And I was like, I'm going to be the change that they need, and screwed it up. I don't think it had as much to do with my age as it did my experience. And there was no training program. I was thrust into it and it was awful. But just to say blankly, like any 24-year-old can't be a manager, not true, in my opinion. It depends on many, many, many factors, like what the job is, what the team looks like. I think it's kind of like an old person mentality to be like, like she's already said as such, like you have to be here for 1 year at least to ask for a promotion. So she's already got these arbitrary numbers in her head, like 1 year makes you 365 times or revolutions or whatever is somehow going to make you a better manager than on day 200. Okay, I guess theoretically you could learn more in those 100 days, but it's all kind of arbitrary at this point. It's like we're living on a rock, just figure it out, give me the job or not, but I don't know what the point is. Basically, I think she's wrong to just say she's making a point 24-year-old wants to be a manager. It's like, so let them be. You literally tell women, be ambitious, have goals that are so big it scares you. Okay, but if you're 24, don't want to be a manager at my company or any company, really. All right, back to her.
Between someone, let's say at our company, the next step after coordinator would be a manager level. But to actually get to a place where you can manage other people, that's a skill. That's a job. You don't just get to be a manager because you've been there long enough. This is a problem that so many companies make, so many churches make, so many schools make, is saying oh, you've got tenure, I guess you can lead people. I know you must have experienced a boss in your life that was a monster, that had no idea how to lead and did not give a crap. And they got to be a leader because they had been there long enough. That was it. So
I guess, or you fail upwards, you're not good in the position you're in. And they're like, okay, well, instead of letting you go, we're just going to move you into a management position that has less day-to-day grunt work, which bothers me too. So I'm with her on that. I agree. I think that sucks. The other option is you're a leader because your husband's got money to be able to support you in your dreams of starting a business. That's another alternative way to look at that. If you're looking at who's deserving of what, without Dave, he wouldn't have the opportunity either. So, you're saying tenure because I've been here, seniority, what's the word? Nepotism. It's like nepotism versus seniority. She took the nepotism route. Okay. Her husband had the money to support her, so she's the leader automatically. She didn't have to work her way up. She is the leader from day one because she owns it. Thanks to her husband. Okay.
If you really want that, you have to have a vision for yourself in that role, and you have to have a vision for your team. That's a massive step in the right direction. Where are we going? And next is, how are we going to get there? It's not enough to say, this is the spot on the map that I want to head. Because this is another thing that I've seen a lot in organizations is people who are like, I want to go to this spot on the map. You guys figure it out. Okay, well, how? I think that leaders need to be solution oriented. You don't have to know the minutia. If you're lucky enough to have a team, yes, let those people figure out the detailed steps to get you there. But you could be like, I want to build a rocket ship. Okay, tell us how. Tell us how we're going to do it. Like, give us not just the destiny.
Didn't she say though already, like earlier in this podcast, that she had to set boundaries with her team because they were telling her what to do and when to shoot videos and when to record. And she kept saying yes, yes, yes to the team because they had a schedule for her, and she had to set boundaries and say, no, I don't want to be burnt out. So isn't that them creating the roadmap for her as opposed to the other way around? Because why would she even have to have that conversation if she was the one in charge of telling where to go? Again, like it's contradicting what she said in the beginning.
Nation, but the vision of what it's going to look like on the road there. Because what a leader can do is keep everybody on the path when we lose faith, when we lose hope, when we're unsure. Oh my gosh, when we went into lockdown, 60 employees, we never worked remotely. Like,
I got to know, Rachel, you said 60 employees. What is it now? I need to know what the number is today, 2022. Having 60 employees in 2020 is completely irrelevant to your life and ours at this point. What is the point? I know that's the peak, so that's the highest amount that you've had. So it's like the most impressive, but like, how does it matter anymore?
Companies had no idea what we were doing. And I'll tell you what, I did not know what I was doing, but I was like, I will be damned if I show anybody on this team that I'm scared or that I'm unsure, because right now the whole freaking world is terrified. And privately or like with the other leaders at the company, yeah, let's all sit in a room and crap our pants together. And we did many times. But on a team meeting or whatever, yeah, I'd say like, this sucks. And I know you guys are also trying to figure out how to work from home. And there's a lot to this. And we feel alienated and closed off and scared, all of it. But when it comes to the vision of where we're going and what we're doing, I had to know the answer. I had to know the answer. Because if I get up there and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Well, that's petrifying. Someone said this once years ago. And I don't know if it's going to resonate with you. I know I reference often things from the church because that's just so much of my background. But someone said once, you know, they're like, in the Bible, Jesus would heal people who were sick. And someone would come to him and, you know, he would do healings. The person said, when someone came to Jesus and they had a problem or they were sick, they never wanted Jesus to be sick with them. They never wanted him to have a problem too. They came to him because they wanted hope. What? And I think that having a vision, even if you're honest about like, hey, I mess up sometimes, and hey, I'm working on this area of my life, but I still know where we're going.
What does that have to do with Jesus? People not wanting to bring Jesus down with them. I feel like she's like, is she saying like the team asks her for help and they're trying to make her sick, like bring her down, bring the negativity down or something? I don't know. I'm confused about the analogy. I followed. I was like, okay, like yeah, that's true. Like they just wanted to be healed. They didn't want to bring him sickness. And then it just never went anywhere. Finish it up. Finish your thought, Rach.
That really, really matters. The last thing that I wanted to say on this topic is not just a vision, but also I think as a leader, you've got to have your own evolution. At least to me. You must evolve to show others how to evolve. You must evolve so that your vision can increase. You've got to keep learning and growing and becoming a better version of you so that the vision grows along beside you. What's that scripture? I'm getting real biblical on you today. Did not mean to. But what's that scripture? Without vision, the people perish. Yeah. The vision has to increase. And the only way it's going to increase is that you evolve and become more. And when I say that the vision evolves, I don't mean that it's like, oh, we go from $1 million to $100 million to $1 billion. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Hopefully, as you evolve as a human being, you have more empathy and sympathy for other human beings. You start to ask how the work that you're doing can be helpful and effective to more people, can permeate, can change the lives of your team, can change the lives of your community. How can we make this matter more? That's what I mean by evolution.
I'm not following.
And what's interesting, and you need to hear this right now, is that when we evolve, we often will lose people along the way.
Here it comes. The explanation as to why ticket sales may not be happening or why her numbers may be lower. But then she says, no, they're higher than ever. So I'm confused.
We evolve, that evolution will naturally remove those who aren't evolving at the same pace. I am positive I have lost so many fans and listeners to the show when I started.
I love this comment. Oh my God. So Jesus was at the starting line of a race and he was going against Moses and Peter and Cain, and they all just took off. And Jesus falls over, and then God comes out of the stands and helps him through the finish line. God and Jesus didn't win that day, but they did finish. It's like just as relevant. So stupid. They did use Discover Card's 0% APR financing later at the Chili's, in which they celebrated this moment together. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's just wrap this up. Please, God. Please, Jesus. Let's wrap this up.
Talk more about spirituality and manifesting. And when I started to talk about my faith in terms of something much bigger than the religion I was raised inside of. And I really believe and try and practice that there's space for both those things in our world. I think that God is so much bigger than any one person could try and nail down. And so that's where I'm at. And I talk about it quite a bit, but I'm positive that there are so many people who don't still listen to the show because they only wanted to hear from the version of me that I was 5 years ago, whose faith was much smaller. Because that's where they are, and that's what makes them feel comfortable. And that's okay. I don't need to try and explain my evolution to others. That's not my job. Remember, my job is to be a steward of those in my care. And if you're still here, then the way that I know best to do this work is to do it from the evolved place that I'm at today. And what's interesting is that the numbers of this show, like the listeners that we have and the downloads, have never been bigger. Because when we lose, we're always terrified that we're going to lose a segment of people. But the truth,
I feel like downloads for podcasts are so overinflated because people forget to unsubscribe to them. I mean, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I find it like so insane to think that more people listen to her now than when she was speaking at doTERRA at Beachbody, riling those people up in their MLM uplines. everyone was promoting her, speaking so highly about her. She was on Good Morning America. She was on the Kelly Clarkson show. She was everywhere. Less people listened then than now. Like, I just find that shocking. What's the point of doing all that press then? To just talk about nonsense. I don't know. Like, I just find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe.
Is as you're losing, the evolution is also bringing new people in. So there is no fear. There is just the work that we're trying to do and how well we can do it in a way that feels authentic to us. So that's what I'm thinking about leadership right now, guys. And like I said, maybe over time, it changes again. But I hope that our conversation today made you think a little differently about leadership, even if it was just to ask yourself the question of what does it mean to you? You could have heard my definition and be like, that chick is crazy. No. But maybe that will prompt you to define it along your terms. I'm Rachel Hollis. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I would love, love, love if you could share this episode on your social or with someone you think could use it. And until I see you next time, I want you to remember, always, 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 I love you and I'm rooting for you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Hollis. Hi, I'm Taro Schmunchmine. That's Taro's last name, Schmunchmine. Well, we did it, guys. We made it. We survived. We're basically like that guy who had a blown ACL within the first second of starting the race. We knew it was going to be bad from the second it started, yet I, the father in the stands and the godfather of this channel, essentially, because I have God pronouns, I helped you all through it, and we finished together. It's worth something, right? Excusez-moi. All right, so that was that. The only thing I have to catch up on with her is the Hawaii episode. I'll do that on my own time, and then if anything's worthwhile, we'll discuss, I guess, at some future date. But, I read the Reddit a lot, so it didn't seem like anything crazy was happening. The big thing is I'm reading the book, so I feel like it's helping me kind of reacclimate with her older stuff, with her mindset mentality, and it helps me balance the thoughts and ramblings of today's Rachel. Today's Rach. Oh gosh. Kitty. Okay. She's tangled in the wires. So if I'm talking about the past more, it's because I'm just obsessed with the past and negativity. That's why. So like I said, I did record another video today on a I shouldn't say non-Rachel Hollis related because it's somewhat Rachel Hollis related. It's the what's it called? Freaking Louise Hay. I Can Heal My Own Life book, basically. How to heal your life that Rachel's talked about several times now in the last year. She's promoted it, talked about it, glowingly and saying how amazing this book is. I'll just say for the record, it's batshit crazy. That's putting it lightly. So that will be coming out, excuse me, soonish. And then I'm also working on a video about Jay Shetty because the patrons over on Patreon, that's what they selected. So that was the new guru, the next guru to be featured. So I'm working on that, very similar to the Gabby video. And if you are not following me on Instagram yet, that's the best place to follow me. I've been sharing a lot of interesting content lately. I learned light language. Do you know what that is? That is if you're Pentecostal or know anyone Pentecostal and they say like speaking in tongues, it's like that, but for spiritual shaman white women, essentially. Do I still have it on here? Oh no, it's already gone. Dang. But this is me doing that. You'll have no idea what I'm talking about unless you've seen the original, but just I'll find it. This is a transmission. This is really good. At this point's important. Yeah. So that was in reference to a TikToker who I just came across. And I feel bad, sort of. I mean, kind of. Because
yeah, it becomes our problem when, you know, and it's really, she needs to figure this out.
I love TikTok so much. She seems like a nice person, the girl who's doing, or the woman who's doing these videos, but she also will say stuff like, I'm helping like charter in the new earth, and I am like really deeply helping people, and I just find it to be like, you're making videos on TikTok speaking in a fake language about, you know, for constipated people. Just like, can we just be honest about what this is? And if you want to help humanity, like, do it. I'm all for it, but like, this is not the way. So this is what I was making fun of. This is what I was bullying yesterday. And maybe it is bullying, but I don't mean harm. I just want to point out, come on, like, it's for the viewer. It's not for the person doing it. They can keep doing it forever. I just want to point out, like, people watching this, like, there's other people who think this is insane. I'm one of them. I was finding myself, like, vibing. I was like, okay, cool. Cool. Here's one.
I bet after listening to this, you'll feel tingles in your body. Listen and let me know.
This has Danielle written all over it. Danielle, the yoga instructor. So that's the type of stuff. That was just my example of types of things that you might see on my page on Instagram. I like Instagram. I wasn't, I took a break when I first started this channel. I wasn't on Instagram at all. I was like taking a social media break, and I was like, I'm not going back to Instagram. I hate it. But now I kind of like it again because it's the easiest way to get messages. It really is like Twitter. I don't know. I'm just not a Twitter person. I've tried several times. I still have it, but I don't use it that much. Facebook, hate Facebook. Will never go there again. And like TikTok is my favorite, but it's hard to message. It's hard to like get DMs. There's stuff that sits there for months and I don't see it. I'm like, what? Wait, someone tagged me? Oh my God. So Instagram is the place. Like if you want to get in contact with me, say something, send me something. And now my algorithm on Instagram is like so perfectly tailored to like all the scams and self-help nonsense that it's easy to share stuff all day long. So, oh yeah, here's my trip. Also, this is El Salvador. This is the Santa Ana volcano. Well, this isn't actually. This is a different volcano. I'm actually standing. Actually, no, I think that is a different volcano. It's nearby the Santa Ana volcano where this picture was taken. And there's my fiance. There's Stevie. Steven is his name. There's the top of the volcano. It looks like that's like a little pond water. That's like a mile down. The perspective of cameras is weird. But it was cool. It was freezing cold. It was hot all the way up. We got to the top. It started like sleeting on the top of the mountain. On the top of the volcano. And that's all sulfur. And that's a different volcano too. It just had opened up for us. And then this is a Lago Cotopeque. And this is my best influencer pose. He's like, why don't you just look away? We took about 14 photos of me like Okay, he's like, why don't you look away from the camera? And it looked the best. I will say this one did look the best. So he's right. Did it stink? No, it was too cold, honestly, to notice anything else. My hands were like frozen off. We walked, basically. It's in my head. That one specifically was like very catchy. I feel healed. I'm sorry. I've been in a mood also, like in the last, I didn't go to therapy for 2 weeks because I was out of town, and then, or my therapist was out of town, and then I was out of town. So 2 weeks without therapy for me is like quite a lot of time these days. So I've been like holding on to a lot of emotions. And so, and I didn't have this as an outlet either to like kind of blow off some steam. So it's been like one of those weeks where I'm like, am I insane? Like, am I doing anything right in life? Like, am I just a total idiot? So it's one of those weeks. So if I came off a little meaner than normal, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but you know, sometimes I get on these rants, or I start to see people and creators, and I'm like, fuck you, how dare you? And a lot of it's not, I guess it's envy. But it's like, man, they get to live a cool life with vacations and houses and security, and all they're doing is ripping people off, and I just start to get angry about it. And then I gotta realize, like, chill out. Your life is good, and it is good, so. That's my show. Thank you for joining me. But now that I'm back in therapy, things should calm down for everyone involved. Everyone can relax now because I'm back in the chair. So it's very nice to be able to express myself twice a week. Twice a week, my sweet therapist cleans my brain. I come to her office twice a week. She's so sweet. She cleans my emotions. She asks me, how am I feeling? What makes you think I want to be mentally stable? What makes you think I want to be not mentally ill? God. Idiots. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to join the Patreon because you want to vote, I am trying to, like I said, be more active there. So if you had thought about it in the past or did it in the past and you're like, it is a dead Patreon, it has become alive. It has come back to life. The miracle that is life of Patreon. It is returned from the dead. It is risen, and I'm back there. So if you're so called to join, please. If not, don't worry about it. No, blah. You're always welcome here. Even that person who is very angry is still welcome here whenever. I did not block. I just figure let them get their shit out, and then they'll just go on their own. Which is what happened. So anyways, that's it. Oh yeah, Cringefluencers, that channel, if you're unfamiliar, is with me and Camellia from her own channel, where we talk about a lot of the same subjects. We're going to talk about Teal Swan because the documentary, The Deep End, is done. And so we're going to just kind of do a wrap up of the documentary. We're also going to talk about Teal generally again, talk about some of the updates and things going on in her life. And I'm excited to reconnect with Cam because it's been a week and it feels like a lot longer because I miss talking to her because she's a cool person to talk to, and she's been really busy too with studying. So I'm glad to reconnect with her on Cringefluencers. That will be Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to send you guys out with this healing message. And I am going to sleep. Okay. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody. See you soon. Ciao.